everybody. We are back with another episode of Citizen Glitch. We've got some special guests today who became, some of my heroes today. And we've got, of course, back our wonderful hidden frog, Denny of ᚚᛉᛊᛊ and RuneBOND. We've got the Desert Lynx, one of my amazing heroes. And Joelle, before we go into any more of today's topic, I do want people to know a little bit about you guys. Just take a second to introduce yourselves. But guys, when I tell you that this is the man, this is the reason why when I'm not thinking I don't want to use crypto, I use crypto. And it's not just words that go in my head. I literally have a song in my head and it goes like this. Joelle, 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 I'll pay using crypto, don't send me to hell. And with that, oh yes, and Sailor's name we pray. In Sailor's name we pray, right, Joelle?
Yes, amen.
Okay, so I'll let you guys just introduce yourself really quick, and then we're gonna get into today's glitch topic. What's up? Let's go, Joelle.
Perfect. Hey, everyone. My name is Joelle, and I do business development and marketing for Dash. I also cyberbully Michael Saylor and do other content creation, influencer-related things online as my side gig. I've been in crypto roughly 13 or so years, kind of full-time in the last 10 or 11. I haven't earned fiat since the very end of 2015 and middle of 2016 and closed my bank account. So that's 10 years as the front row guinea pig for what the illustrious Ken Bozek calls, we're the beta testers of money. Man, it sucks. But sometimes it doesn't suck. Sometimes it's very nice, but very happy to be here. And of course, I host the Crypto Quorum space on the Dash account every Thursday, and Red is always there. And I always remind her of how sorry she should be. And there you go. That's how it is.
Well, you know what? I'm not sorry for anything, but he loves to do that. Denny, I love a bit, but when you really became my hero was when you did that viral video where you were just telling people to fuck off and fuck themselves with regards to how they were bullying ⚚ᚗ. I was so proud of you. You said the F word more times in like 3 minutes than I say the F word daily usually. And that's a lot.
That was my thing, right?
That was Joelle.
You did. You posted that.
Yeah.
Joelle, I have watched that video an unhealthy amount of times.
It was great.
It unfortunately triggers the people in my life because they're like, we've seen you when you actually get legitimately mad and you sound like that, and this is giving us PTSD. So can you stop? So I apologize for that. It's really taught me a lot about myself that like sometimes I can get a little rowdy, and it's not just for the fun. But so I'm trying to zen out, but not when it's time. I'm gonna do more of those rants at some point.
Absolutely.
No, we need that. We need that. Like, because Denny, the minute Denny became my hero, do you remember Denny? When I knew, like, I think that this guy is gold. Do you remember the actual words that you said?
Bridges are for bitches.
That's right, Denny. And then Decentralized Creative made a rap about it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is amazing. But so, yeah, I mean, like, so as you can see, I'm really happy to bring everybody here today. I don't know if Nicholas, you had any questions. Otherwise, I kind of thought it would be good to get into our topic. But like, I mean, I always like to have people on here that, I really just love their energy, if you get my drift.
Absolutely.
Well, when you were serenading Joelle, I was wondering, am I allowed to like, because I don't have a lighter. I was like, what? I was thinking I could wave a gun on screen, but I don't know if that plays really bad for the algorithm. So I wasn't sure. Yeah, I don't have one of those. Or I can have like a little piece of silver. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, listen, the gun waving thing is what you have to do every time a Canadian says they're sorry. You
That's
gotta
right.
do it like it's like saging, saging the room. You just got to get rid of the bad juju,
And I like angry Joelle a lot. Actually, Joelle, next time you do an angry video, like punch a hole in the drywall behind you, and then as you get angrier, like more videos, just another hole. So then people.
But
can,
it's like my house, and I have to fix it. Now I don't know what you say about.
Hard.
No, I don't want to get into too many Mexican drywalling cliches, but it's a little bit offensive, actually.
Go back to your roots, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Go back to your country. Wait,
I didn't
can't
say that
because I'm also half Mexican.
So there you go.
But don't apologize. Make sure you never apologize.
I'm part of everywhere, and y'all are apologizing more than the Canadian. I'm just
It's a little rough.
You guys, he's double Canadian and American, just so you know.
double XP boost.
Well,
Was I supposed to
because
get my
he's
introduction?
considered
I
a
can't
Native
remember.
American.
I am part Native American. I am. Absolutely.
You are, Denny?
That's
A little.
I've seen the little
Potawatomi.
skin tone. The cheeks.
Yeah?
It's in the cheeks.
And it's as Elizabeth Warren says, it's in the cheekbones or something. I don't know, but I'm actually Native American, unlike her. So well, yeah, I'm 1/8 Potawatomi. It is true. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to this conversation, you guys. This is gonna be fun.
Okay. I guess we should get into it. It's just that you guys are so fun, and I wanted people to know how fun you guys are, and just those moments that I'm just like, fuck yeah, because I'm going to be real with you. And then I swear to God, we'll get into the conversation. I do not I do not trust people who do not use profanity. And there's a lot of studies and research to back that up. They're not honest. And like some of the people in my life that were like the craziest and the most dishonest, guess what? They were always trying to bully me just because profanity is my love language, which is obviously a problem. Yeah.
I think it's the bell curve thing where the the best people and the worst people swear a lot, right?
Oh, is that true?
It's like, because I know some incredibly toxic, crazy people who are just also like that. So it's like the mid-curvers, as they call them, which somehow mid-curve has become more of an insult than like calling someone a dum-dum these days, which is kind of funny, but whatever.
Well, but no, you have a point. It's because it's language and it's intentional and it's how it's used, right? Because if somebody comes to you and guys, this really did happen. Fuck you! I hope you die, and I hope all your children die too. I mean, like obviously, if you say it in that way, right? It's not like that's
You're
not
reading off the script for my next rant video.
You're gonna make Sailor cry.
But we pray in Sailor's name. Like that's Joel's favorite thing is to talk about Michael Saylor. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so guys, let's be honest. Most of you are walking around with a supercomputer in your pocket, really, that you're not allowed to talk to. Not all of you. Some of you got money you can't spend without asking a bank for permission. And you've got decentralized networks that act more like exclusive country clubs than public utilities. And we're told shit is freedom. No, but it feels more like being grounded from a parent who won't give you the keys. But we are fixing that today. We are talking about building a life where you don't need a hall pass to spend your money, run your code, or think your thoughts. We've got Dash, the only crypto that works like cash should, right? Or maybe not. I'm kidding. We've got RuneBOND, where you don't just stake and pray, but actively vet who secures the network. And we've got Goose and Venice AI, tools that let you run your intelligence locally and uncensored. Okay, so my first question is for Joel. Okay, so you have often, Joel, called crypto a fish with legs. It's trying to walk on land, but still flopping around. You say we need to fix usability before it's too late. But I have to ask, isn't like flopping just usually a feature? And if it becomes as easy as Venmo, right? Haven't we just kind of rebuilt the surveillance state with extra steps?
Wow. Well, first of all, flopping is not always a feature if you're doing it right. You just got to say that.
Oh, is that true?
But also, yeah. But I guess my dirty jokes will fly over some people's heads. That's fine. But as far as like the easiest Venmo thing, it's one of those things where this is one of those things that unfortunately I've struggled with, not personally, but I've struggled with people around me about trying to get crypto adoption, where first of all, it's just not easy enough to use for the most part. And if anything works, people who care about sovereignty don't trust it. Like people like it when that's one of the reasons why like the Bitcoin maximalists got so far is because when you made them run their own dumb little node that was like syncing forever and all this stuff in the corner, they were like, oh my gosh, I'm being cypherpunk. It's hard to use. And same thing is like, oh, I send some Monero and it's 20 minutes later is when I can send it again. And it's just like these things that just grind the gears and like they just, oh, I'm being cypherpunk and hacky because we remember the times when that was the only way to have any kind of freedom. You had to be a ham radio guy in the back doing whatever. That's the only way you could do that. Now we have freedom tech that is starting to be as usable or very close to it, or in some cases more than the legacy stuff. So for the Venmo thing, right? So in the Dash Pay wallet today, and stuff is getting fixed and improved all the time. You have usernames, contact lists, encrypted metadata. So where you say this was for coffee, and then that's saved forever on the blockchain in an encrypted way. So if you lose your phone, it's all there, just like signing back into your Venmo. And I actually did witness a Venmo transaction the other day and looked over the shoulder, looked at the app, and it was 90% the same as when I use my Dash wallet. The only difference is after they tried to send, they requested the last 4 digits of the phone number of the person's recipient thing for safety reasons or whatever. Whereas the Dash wallet, you just hit go and it goes. And so that's the one we're getting to the spot where we can have that like mass adoption user experience. We don't have it yet, but we can see it on the horizon. We can see it like coming over the mountains there. We can see it, and we don't have to sacrifice decentralization for it. And that's the kind of the big thing is once we hit UX parity, as I would call it, user experience parity with the mainstream apps, because they're not free, because they're slave apps, have inherent user experience problems, because you have to like your selfie and put the passport up or the driver's license, and then well, I don't know about this, verify you're that, or we're community guidelines with your post. There's always these things that just you can't just use it. And so if the user experience is the same across freedom tech and not freedom tech will always win.
I love it.
Denny, did you have anything like, to add to that? Maybe. I'm guessing you do.
Well, I 100% agree. First and foremost, I have to say, as a man, I am nervous about your backgrounds, and I'm going to keep an eye on them in case you have some, schizophrenic, drug-addled person that tries to attack you. I don't know how I have to convey this. I'm thinking about using like the Team America World Police sign where I'm like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to communicate danger to you. But
Denny, yeah. Look, you're just trying to game me to move to Arizona. Literally, when I told him I'm moving to Seattle for a while, and I don't even know how long I'm going to be here. I'm like Mary fucking Poppins. I really am not going to. I'm going to stay until the wind changes. He's like, a lot of people, they commit suicide in Seattle and Washington. There's a high suicide rate.
They do.
Yeah. Well, on the other side, when I lived in Phoenix, it is not even a joke. I did consider ending it all at one point. I'm sure it was coincidental. It was coincidental to a lot of things in my life, but also the fact that I was living in fucking Phoenix. That was part.
It's really hot. It's really hot.
Did I really make you spit take there?
I really I'm drinking water. You make me spit on the computer.
It's hot and flat and beige, and I've never met someone who loves it. Everyone who I've met who loves Arizona does not really like Phoenix. So,
the Phoenix sucks. Yeah, it does. Yeah. I live right next to water, man. That's the only reason why I'm still alive. You know what I mean? Yeah. Did you destroy your laptop? You just like spat all over it.
But you know what? We're live and we're raw. Right now I'm staying in like the 4th hotel since I've moved. I'm actually starting to look at apartments now, starting next week. But like the Wi-Fi sucks ass. And I was trying to like call one of the services there to get better Wi-Fi for streaming, and I'm on hold. And I'm like, fuck this shit. We're going to glitch out. And if it starts raining, it starts raining. I'm just going to go to a coffee shop, and then that's life,
Absolutely.
Anyhow.
Well, I will say, what Jill says 100% correct. When it comes to like freedom tech, it's got to be usable. Right, 100%. If we want to have a mass adoption, the user experience, the user interface, it has to be at least parity, right? Speed of execution, reliability. But to Joel's point, there are things that we can improve, like privacy and being your own bank, right? These are things that are absolutely enormous that we have to actually return. I mean, that was the founding to be, America specific. That was the founding of the country. Privacy was just the norm. I mean, there was no income tax. There was none of this stuff. So I think we're returning to form here. It's going to be a long, challenging battle, but I think we got the advantage if I'm doing the first principles correctly, but I don't want to take any assumptions. I just want to work really hard and return society at large to a more secure and free time. I love Dash.
Jim.
It loves you too.
I call him Jim sometimes. Oh no, are you freezing?
I'm listening. I'm sitting here in my little notepad. I'm writing away. I'm looking at the robots on the left that are reading the transcripts, and I got me thinking. With Red, we have like this little rule called the 5 flows of income, and with Dash, it's very different.
No, it's called. He's been bullying me lately. You don't have enough flows of income, Red. You need to fix that right now. That's how you sound when you talk to me, but it's okay. Like I deserve
I will
it.
send you 1,000 Kermit puppets just to sell right there in that very cafe. I promise you.
Okay.
Kermit puppets.
No, but I guess we're good then.
Yeah,
I mean,
thinking
like,
more. I have some. I do have something. You never really answered why you call it with a fish with legs.
You didn't.
Well, first of all, I have to be completely transparent that I don't actually remember doing them, but it must have been profound if I did. But I think it was in the context.
Yeah, and you don't remember saying in Sailor's name we pray, right, Joel?
No, I do remember. Every petty thing, I do remember those. I hold them dear to my heart. But so as far as the fish with legs, it's because crypto is such kind of like raw tech. Again, we're going raw again, but it's raw infrastructure. And when was the last time you went to the fiber optic store and just wanted to buy some fiber? Like not a cable because you're like a repair person, but just like raw, like with not even in cable form. Like no one does that. When's the last time you're like, dude, you know what I need? I need to buy myself a bag of lithium. No one buys a bag of lithium. What the hell? Like, no, but everyone uses lithium. It is used lithium powered things, lithium batteries in everything, right? That the plane says they're going to blow up if they're in your bags or whatever communist propaganda they give you. But the point is, that is what crypto is. It's a raw resource. And so the one thing you could do with it is buy it. And then other people are like, this is awesome freedom tech, allegedly somewhere down the line. I'm going to buy it too. And then the number goes up and then you're like, well, this is cool. You may just buy this digital shiny rock and I can sell it for more later. Wow, this is cool. And that became the entire crypto industry where everything comes with, and I'm not criticizing it so much. I'm just sort of like analyzing the trajectory. Just everything has to start that way. But like people did this and the entire industry was just well-meaning people like myself, but others as well, just being like, oh my gosh, I'm going to promote this. I'm going to use it. I'm going to work for it. I'm going to do all this. And then they just are like floundering to be like, how do I get it to stick? And the one thing get to stick is you just come up with narratives and then people like it and they buy it. And you're like, well, I guess that works. And then eventually you just burn out and like, oh, the whole place is a scam. It's a this and that because you never connected that to the end result. A lot of that is people's faults for not doing it the right way, but a lot of it's also just how early we have been up until now. Like now it's not early anymore. Now it's early to not being early, but it's still not early anymore. Like
before, I have a thing
yes.
about that, right, Joel? Are you trolling me on purpose?
Is this the we're so early thing? It
Yes.
can't be your thing because it's DB Crypto's thing too. So I don't know.
No. DB Crypto. It started out in DB Crypto. That joke was because I came into his space ranting and raving at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why the fuck is the X Portal app not, being advertised in the media, like with Sui and Multiverse Sex at the time, right? Because it is, it's originally Multiverse Sex technology that was used by Sui. And I went into his space one day, and when people kept saying we're so early, I was like, I'm so triggered. You can't say that because that's an excuse. Saying we're so early. Yeah. And so like he started trolling me after that, and Vinny does it too, because I'm not saying that there isn't some validity into that statement, but people use it too often as an excuse to say, oh, I don't need to invest in crypto right now, or we don't need to make our tech better right now because it's early. Oh, it's okay. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. It's okay. We kind of suck. Oh, it's okay because we're early. So I fucking hate that. And now you're doing it too.
Can I do it as well?
Yes.
I'd love to do it.
Right.
Let me add a little legitimacy to it a little bit. I'll try, Red. Okay. So there is a phrase spoken by a few community members. One Boone, very good, smart guy. But there is an expression that is being said in Thorchain, and that is permissionless doesn't matter until it does. Right. And what have we seen right now in Europe with Mika? You're having a lot of basically throttling, a lot of like everyone's vices around the neck when it comes to getting the assets, right? And so there is a case for earliness, right? Because that is an ethos thing. You have to make a design decision on your protocol from the very beginning of permissionlessness. This is something that you can do a shortcut on like the last 2 or 3 years. Not a big deal. But as the vice tightens around the world, when we lose more and more freedom, the permissionless thing shines so brightly. And that is where the product market fit really comes in, because it's more than just having the ability to swap something. It's having access to something at all, right? So there are some examples where being early does make sense. Not to push so much back against you, Red.
Well, let me also add to that I think that we always should be early, or my place in the world is to always be early. Now, not unworkably early, but you should, if you're not early at all, you're not really contributing too much, right? You're just kind of like, wow, let me get into crypto and use this cool tech when the whole world is using it, and I don't have a say in whether or not it gets used. It just is. It's like, well, thank you, Johnny come lately, but like, we need early people. We need the pioneers. We need the people to take the arrows in the back. We need the people to close their bank account and panic, and because they're, oh my gosh, I don't know how to pay for anything. What the hell is this? We need the people to like run their own node and then it doesn't work. We need the early AI users. We need the people running their PC to like on their local AI models and trying to make a living off of that stuff. Just all the really like the first vibe coders, right, shall inherit the earth. The first ones who are like, you know what if I can just like, I'm an ideas guy or gal, and this stuff can kind of write code, and let me just learn enough about coding to not be able to code, but to be able to direct these things to make things. And I'm just going to have the balls to like, or ovaries, of course, to make real production software that works, despite not knowing how to make software at all. Now everyone's doing it, but like the first people to do it, it wouldn't have been a thing if it weren't for those first few people. And so we're always trying to be early, because once we fixed it, what do you want to just sit in the thing? You want to be the guy who like invented the manual transmission car, and then that's just all you ever drive, and that's the end of your life? Or do you want to like do the next thing and then the next thing and just keep pushing humanity forward?
100% agree. 100% agree. I kind of want to change it a little bit, because, you know, maybe I should talk about what Thorchain is real quick. I didn't even introduce myself. So for those who don't know, my name's Denny. I know, Reddit. I messed up. I help the interface RuneBOND, which allows people to bond their rune, and Thorchain is a permissionless, real layer 1 to layer 1 DEX with automated market maker. Works really, really cool. Continuous liquidity pools. Super awesome. It's been going since 2021. Try it out at swap.thorchain.org. Or go to thorchain.org and click swap, whichever you want to do. You know, Joel, I actually want to bring our Mr. Dashing Frog here, because, you know, I'm approaching 40s, you know, and, you know, I can't be called young anymore, unfortunately. I actually am curious. I don't want to psychoanalyze you or anything, buddy, but I'm curious, like, when you look at the world relative to your own age, like, how do you feel about it? You know, when you look out there, do you have a sense of hope? Do you have a sense of are you encouraged? Do you feel like, you know, I'm curious how you interpret the world around us, because, you know, we've described how it's becoming more dystopian, stuff like this. So give me your personal impression as someone who's a little younger. Not to say that you're dumb, because you're obviously a very smart person, but I'm curious, like, being so young, how does that affect you?
Very much depends on what it is. See, if we're talking about Linux and older models of ways of using the internet, yeah, I'm clueless. But when it comes to these new vibe-coded apps, it's very much kind of my area and territory. But I find like these little widgets that can be added onto Chrome browsers, that's kind of where I see the hope and vision coming into. And like, when it comes to meme coins and regular tokens and stable coins and all these different apps, it's really just the first beginning of crypto all over again, in my perspective. It's just kind of just less hyped and less drip fed and more put out there. But I mean, for hope, it very much depends on y'all and people like y'all if you're gonna keep going, and if people like me and Red, if we're gonna keep yapping and keep doing whatever we're doing with my frog on my head right now. And by what I mean whatever I'm doing is answering questions that probably should be out there, like how, Denny, I'm glad you introduced yourself finally on here, and stuff like that. That's stuff that needs to be put out there, right? And for my generation, that's stuff we kind of are looking for that kind of gets glossed over. But so when it comes to Dash, the one thing that I noticed the most is y'all were out here the longest. You're sitting here like ducks, pretty much in the same position the way people look at ETH, right? So it's very much, from my perspective, Red knows my perspective on coins. I can't wait. My perspective is everything's gonna go good, right? That's my hope and dream. And perspective 2 is we'll find out, you know? But for like Dash and different, I don't know, it's just you guys are engaged with the community. Every Wednesday, Tuesday streams. You have all the connections. If I don't want to be on X one day, I can watch the stream one day. If I don't want to do either one day, I can just trade. If I don't want to do this, ADHD. That's why the ADD is in the Dash and Frog, right? So you guys keep up with us, and you know, you say what you want to say, like dessert, and you scream in, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." That's what we need. That like truth, even if it doesn't look pretty, even if it looks like me with ODD, right? It's out there now. If someone thinks, "Oh man, I wonder if someone's ever done that before," right? Well, now we can look at Denny and Mr. Lenny, and you know, see that Hidden and Red yapped for 2 hours about all the things that they probably were thinking about. The same goes for Mark and everyone else. But I don't know. That's kind of why me and Red do these things, is because y'all are actually going somewhere, just like everyone else. You know, there's fudders, and then there's bad actors, and then there's frogs, and I think y'all are some good frogs.
Well, thanks, brother.
Ribbit.
Thanks. Ribbit indeed, man. Well, we gotta move the needle.
Yeah.
Sorry? I mean, I'm not sorry. What, Denny?
I said we were moving the needle here. You know what I mean? We got to make a dent in the universe. That's what you have to do, right? I don't know. I just look at the world and I say, okay, if there's time to do something, it's right now. You know? Yeah, man, I do everything for the next generation, really. I just feel this profound attachment to not only just my own country, but you know, I have a lot of kids in my family and stuff, and I just love what we do. It gives me a real sense of fulfillment, and I sleep really good at night, right? And it's so fun, it's so addicting, like hanging out with Joel, you know, meeting you, Sir Dashing Frog, and hanging out with Red. This is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna keep doing it. So yeah, well, thanks for sharing, man. I appreciate it. Were you gonna add something to that, Joel? I think I cut you off.
Not really. I mean, I was just saying Ribbit, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of true. Like, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Leave it at Ribbit.
Ribbit indeed. Let's go. Yeah.
He changes his title almost every week a little bit. It's always like some kind of hidden something, or with the frog. Last week, because we did a special 4th of July stream, I think you had yours as like hidden independent frog or some shit like that. But he's always changing it. I usually just change it back and forth between Red Alark and Citizen Glitch. But like, I mean, I think it's kind of fun to like, you know, change your name on here.
Denny's between Denny and RuneBOnd and Patriot Sounds.
Yeah, no.
And I'm usually the same, but sometimes I'm a dessert Linux.
You are a dessert Linux?
I like it.
I made a joke about that one point, and then I had my account on the Hive blockchain. I lost my keys to it. And so I was locked out of that account. So I just created a new one called the Dessert Linux. So it's just the way it is. I have that username registered on the Dash network as well. It's fun. It's a fun site. It's like my demo wallet. Like I have a clean wallet that's not my spending wallet, that I have a separate profile on the phone that has the Dessert Linux. And so if you have friend requests from the Dessert Linux, it is actually me. It's just my party wallet. It's not
your party wallet.
wallet.
Heck yeah. Awesome. That's funny. Well, Red, did you have questions or anything
Of
for
course,
us?
of course. I always have questions, don't I?
All
I mean,
right,
and
let's go.
Dash always have questions too. But I also I always like to give you guys kind of like freedom to like go where you're gonna, kind of go with things, right? Going more into like Dash evolution, right? I mean, like, I don't know if you wanted to say, anything, about that. Otherwise, I was going to ask you, I was going to ask Denny a little bit more about RuneBOnd, if that's okay.
Yeah, who wants to go
No?
first?
Sure, let's go with me.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Fire
go
away.
with you. Fire away! Okay, so in traditional staking, right, you just dump your tokens into a pool and just fucking hope it'll be all right. But RuneBOnd, right, requires node operators to whitelist you, right? And I was just curious, like you had mentioned about things being permissionless, but I'm a little bit confused. Isn't that kind of a little bit counterintuitive? Why do I need a node operator's approval to earn yield? I'm just trying to understand.
Because you can only have 100 slots. So specifically for node operators to whitelist a bond provider, there's only 100 spots available. And there's some technical reasons for that are boring and I won't get into. So you don't want them to get spammed by a random address. So like you could have a competitor node that would just spam them a bunch of fake addresses and take up all their slots, right? So that's why they have to approve a whitelisting process on the 100 bond providers. Now on RuneBOnd, we actually whitelist node operators, right? We don't just let any node operator in. The reason for that is you could have a scenario where you have a node operator with very little of their own bond, but then they acquire bond providers to meet that threshold, right? And then if they were a bad actor, they could try to churn into the network and then attack the network at the expense of their own bond providers because they don't have much money at stake, right? So that's something to think about. They kind of think like a kamikaze pilot where, well, more of like a drone, really, because they're not the pilot because they're using someone else's bond, right? So maybe there's a pilot in there. They're not the pilot, and they're controlling it like remote viewing or something like this. So it's the exact metaphor breaks down because there's really no world. But you see what I mean? There's a reasons why that exists. And we recently did have an attack on ThorChain from a malicious node operator. It's the first time ever, very sophisticated attack. So it's important that we know, we try to have good actors in the space as best we can, but ThorChain otherwise is permissionless. And that's unique to RuneBOnd when it comes to whitelisting node operators. Hope that made sense.
What do you think, Hidden? Does that make sense to you? It's still permissionless then. It's just intricate what you're describing.
The interface of RuneBOnd is permission in the sense that of what we let on, but anyone can make their own interface and do whatever they want. Like RuneBond's just a interface, right? Like you can make a I don't know, RuneStake website, and just call it staking. You do whatever you want. Like ThorChain is just raw infrastructure that people build around, right? Like we're going to be adding Dash to ThorChain, hopefully very nearly in the future here, right? But you can have access to Dash. Like you don't need an interface for that. You could sign a transaction in your wallet. If you had like Bitcoin and you want to go Dash, like, Bitcoin sucks, Sailor is rugging me, I want to go to Dash because Joel's the saint, right? You can craft your own memo in your own wallet.
Get it right.
He is God. He is, yeah, absolutely. And you could craft your own memo and from your own wallet, you don't need an interface. And that is like the most permissionless you can get. If you can sign a transaction, which literally any blockchain can do, you can swap on ThorChain. Made it as successful as we can. And you don't need to hold Rune to swap on ThorChain either. So
yeah,
that's how it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things that was the bane of my existence for a long time is the connect the wallet stuff. And so for people who've been in crypto for a very long time, mostly Bitcoin heads, connecting wallets was some like ETH shitcoin nonsense, right? Like, but now it's like the standard way everything's done. And I understand there's some very good reasons for that in some ways, but I guess ThorChain was just imagined, I wouldn't say not at the infrastructure level, but like at the UI level, it was sort of imagined as part of like, well, all DeFi stuff, because Ethereum did it that way first. And for years, wallets for coins like Bitcoin and Dash and stuff like that had just really tricky times being able to swap on these interfaces. So the band-aid for that was something called key store, where you have a little file that's like your private keys in like a password protected TXT file basically, and you open that and put in your password, and that connects the wallet, and that's kind of how it works. And so that's what we've been doing for a while, and eventually I learned that you don't have to even do that. It's super simple, and this is something I've been working on. I've gotten it submitted into the Dash wallets, and I'm just waiting to test. I was going to work with Thordex on this, and Thordex is a Thorchain front end that's built on IPFS, so it's like an uncensorable website. And so I've been working on with the people that run that to test it out. So here's how it works, right? If you have you guys scanned a QR code in crypto before, like to pay for stuff? That's the usual way. Red, you never have?
I mean, like at events, very rarely, I mean, because people are so paranoid, like they think, oh my God, someone's going to hack me with a QR code.
To send crypto to someone, like you ever scan a QR code to pay a crypto invoice or anything?
I've scanned it, to pay, just for like a ticket to an event. Yes.
Yeah. So when you scan a QR code, like Denny opens up his wallet and I want to send him, I scan a QR code, and what that does is it inputs that address, the long, ugly freaking address that all crypto has. And then I go and hit it pay, and it works. There's something called BIP21, or Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 21. This is going in the weeds, but it's a fun history lesson for all the children out there. When you get to, so BIP21 is just a URI specification, which basically just says this is how you construct the data that's inside that QR code or whatever. So for example, if I want to send Dash to someone, it's the text literally is dash : and then has the address, and then amount equals, and then if you whatever amount you put in, then it auto inputs the amount when I scan a QR code, like you're paying a merchant. You just scan it and it auto inputs how much. You don't have to be looking on your thing, figuring it out. That's been there since 2012. There's an addendum to that where you do OP return or op return equals, and that's where you put the Thorchain memo in. And so that's all you have to do. And the request PRs have not been merged yet, but they're ready to be merged. And as soon as we test this with the front end, it will be as easy as you go to like Leodex or Thordex or whatever it is, whatever website there is, and you say I want to swap Dash for Bitcoin for some reason, and you hit go, and then it just gives you a QR code. You pull out your phone, scan, hit send, and you're done. And that's just the swap. And it's super easy to integrate into wallets. So that's something that I think will really sort of bring everything together. I'm working on that. You'd be surprised at just how much you can do with those kinds of very simple kinds of things. But so when Denny was talking about the you don't need permission, all you need is like a regular transaction with some data, like that's literally all it is, right? Is just you send a transaction, and almost every coin has a memo field of some kind. Bitcoin has op return, Dash has op return, a bunch of things have memo fields. I think Nano is one of the only. Monero
that does
might
not
have a. It had one, by the way. Do you remember that? Do you remember there was a time when there was a Mordinals, which are ordinals on Monero, and people were putting
what the fuck? Sorry,
data
I'm not
into
sorry.
op return. You play yourself so much, but anyway, there's data in the op return field for Monero transactions, but then people could tell which ones were Mordinals and which ones weren't, so they deprecated that feature out of Monero entirely, thus making it impossible to add to Thorchain without tweaks, without changes to the protocol. But so, and Nano is another one. Nano's a very fun project to research if you want to like challenge a lot of your assumptions, and it's pretty cool. But they have no data.
Are you referring to like Nano GPT in particular, or just other type of sub nano things?
So yes and no. The yes is the Nano in Nano GPT is that Nano. Milanda Rede, the guy who runs it, is a big Nano community member, longtime community member and fan, who built a business around accepting Nano and then other cryptocurrencies. And now it's just much more crypto diverse. But Nano is separate from Nano GPT. It's just there is a connection there. Anyway, that's a little bit of like, crypto unk hour, talking about back in the day and how these like URI schemes work and stuff. I don't know if anyone.
We actually talked to Nano, and that's because they don't have a memo field. We're trying to figure out a way, because we do have memoless, which is a whole different tech where you basically take the dust of any transaction and that's your signifier. Super layman's terms, guys. Sorry, just keep it simple.
Yes.
So we're trying to think of a way where we can get Nano without, but it is challenging. But we'll see because. Nano GPT did put us on Nano as well. We love those guys, so we're like, dude, let's just support it. If you guys are using it all the time, then you're used alone, because it's like almost nothing to run this daemon either. It's so cheap, so we'll see.
No, and
I
mean, like, guys, don't think I'm being rude. I think I'm gonna have to walk back inside, because if it starts to rain and my electronics die, it's not gonna be a good thing. But so I'm not being rude. I'm just letting you know so you don't think I'm being rude. I'm probably gonna have to walk inside while we're filming.
That's okay. I'll yell very loudly if a drug addict attacks you. Okay, so I'm protecting you.
Listen, this is one of those reasons why I live in the glorious state of New Hampshire, one of the only places safer than Canada in this hemisphere, because I don't want junkies hitting me over the head with stuff. And I grew up in the north of Mexico.
You mean that's never happened to you before?
Oh, it has, but it's just not here, right? So I grew up in the north of Mexico. I had friends with dirt floors, that was, you could experience like the real world. I used to live in DC, and DC is actually safer now. If you forget the whole government nonsense, which is the whole point of it, but whatever, it's not a bad city. It's kind of nice, but it was less nice. And I used to live right next to the Safeway grocery store that they called the unsafe way, because just the area it was in. And I remember one time walking home at night, and then there's like a police line out and just a McDonald's bag all of food all over the floor, because some random guy coming home from his Capitol Hill job got attacked with a hobo with a brick to the back of the head. And it's just like, oh, this isn't good. And I also remember going on the metro one time, and I was leaving my job and moving with my suitcase to move apartments. And some old hammered guy would not leave me alone because he was convinced that I was like a little boy running away from home. And he's like, "Now you got to call your mama, make sure she'll worry about you." And I'm just like, dude, I'm not. I can't.
I'm a man. I am a man.
Exactly. Yeah, I've graduated college. I'm like, anyway. But so, yeah, I've experienced all that. I've walked through Skid Row for like an hour at 4 a.m. one time, and now I was genuinely scared. And I got to a Starbucks at 5 a.m. and within 20 minutes, it was robbed while I was in it. It's like some guy came in and stole something, and they tried to keep him from leaving, but he busted out. So yeah, again, I'm familiar with like the West Coast way of life, if you'd call it that. I just don't choose it. By the way, are you in the restroom? Because I see a restroom sign behind you.
No, I'm not in the restroom. Like, do you hear the Dark Side of the Moon? Is it playing right now?
No, but say it louder. Say you're not in the restroom louder.
I have become comfortably numb. I'm not in the restroom. Like, this is a coffee shop, bro.
Yeah, I just saw restroom. That's nice.
She can hear everything I'm saying. So
that's fine. All right, I'll stop torturing you now and talking about the Hobo Chronicles.
I just really want to troll you now and just go up to you next time I see you. I was like, "Where's your mom, buddy? You okay? Where are you at? Are you gonna be all right? Where's your parents? You know what I mean?" And just don't stop, no matter what.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've been kind of in professional settings since I was very young, but also just had the baby face at the same time. So people thought I was like 12 when I was actually like 21 or whatever. So that's where it comes from.
Oh, that's so funny. I can only imagine that. That's so great.
Mm-hmm.
What an awesome story. Yes. Well, Joelle, can you tell me a little bit about the conference that's happening on Dash coming up soon? Like, have you a lot of people who have confirmed they're going? Is it going to be the biggest one ever, or what? In September?
Yeah, well, I would say we're going to ease back into it. So Dash has had a few conferences over the years, especially during those big like top 3 market cap days, and the last one, there was a couple year gap, and then there was one in 2019, which is the one I went to, the Dash Convention Europe in Zurich, and it was mostly done by sponsors. Very little from the actual Dash treasury, which is nice. It was actually, which has inspired me to do DashCon this way. And that was a great event. It was like a decent crowd. The after party was in Munich for Oktoberfest, because the guy who ran the conference was from Munich and could get us under like a big tent. So it was like, and that was the last Oktoberfest before they canceled it for the uncertain times. So before it took a little bit of a hiatus because of the world was changing. Just be politically correct here, because it is a politically correct show. Am I correct? Anyway, so citizen woke. Anyway, so so it's been 6 years since then, and there have been meetups and things. I held what I called Dash Fest at one time, when I just got like 80 or like 60, 80 people maybe to show up to a brewery that took Dash, and just, didn't charge for ticket. Just people showed up, and it was like a spontaneous like 4-hour thing or 5-hour thing or something. But other than that, no real conference. Now we're having one September 3rd in Amsterdam, and I'm partnering with ᚚᛟᚴᚖᚾ, which is the fantastic group out of Amsterdam of freedom-loving crypto people. They run the Common Sense Conference, which is a Thomas Paine reference, of course, but Common Sense with a 3, because it's like Web3, whatever. But so it's I've given Ellie so much shit over the name, but I've just come to accept it by now. So that's September 4th and 5th, all part of Cypherpunk Week, and this is kind of the meeting of the cypherpunks, and it's going to be really cool. And if you know anyone who wants to sponsor it, both of those, one or both of those conferences, let me know. If you want to come, please come. And which is something I haven't had to say a lot in my life. But so then it's going to be a great time. Just the best meetings of the minds, etc., happen in real life and amongst good people. And in my conference circuit, like for example, this May, I was basically at 6 conferences in 6 weeks in like 4 countries. And so it was like a lot of travel, and it's great to meet a lot of people and see a lot of people, and including our illustrious Denny right here. And the problem with all that is having to wade through the randos to find like the good people.
Yeah.
And you do find the good people at all of these things. I was surprised. I even found someone at the Vienna Blockchain Week, which was like a super corporate thing at like PwC, the big bank building thing. And I still bumped into some cool people there, even though it was like limited. So I'm looking forward to having a meeting of all the coolest people doing all the coolest things, because crypto is in a corpo slop kind of, soul searching moment right now, when the whole thing was like, oh, we're these edgy cypherpunk people. We just want mainstream love. And then now you get mainstream love, but you're a hollow shell of yourself. And so now people are like, what are we even doing here, man? If you want to know what we're even doing here, man, come to DashCon, come to Common Sense, and we'll have a good time.
Can't recommend Common Sense enough. Really good book, you guys. Check that out.
It's supposed to be a 3, not an E there.
I know. Didn't make that happen for you, buddy. I really think this is I think this might be really big, man, especially with the whole privacy thing coming along right now, all the Mika stuff. I mean, I really think this is when things really start to take off, because people are going to get it now. You're already seeing it with people like, Monero getting kicked off all the centralized exchanges. I think Canada lost XMR access to Monero, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, man, this is it. This is the time. I really feel like things really start clicking now, and all the things that we've been talking about for years, this is where mainstream looks around like, oh, this exists. Like, because there's already a wealth of infrastructure that's already been built and is ready to go. And yeah, I'm looking for it. I really want to go. I'm going to try and go, man. I really am. I think I have to go.
We'll make you.
I know.
Yeah,
Red Alark, are you going to go?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't know that I was moving to Seattle until 2 weeks before I moved to Seattle. When I moved to Japan, when I moved to Japan, I didn't know I was moving to Japan until 2 weeks before. I mean, and obviously I'm not moving to, Europe. I mean, come on, their rights are being taken away left and right. Like, I'm proud to be an American. Sorry, I need to be a little bit softer, because there's people there. And
there's some people. If you didn't, Listen,
Nah, you gotta sing on. You gotta like preach to the choir. Let them all know about Dash and that Red has entered Washington. That's what I think. But you know,
So
I've been
we'll
thinking.
see. We'll see what happens. I there's a lot of I'm getting also a lot of pressure to go to Art Basel too for obvious reasons because I'm an artist.
well, speaking of Art Basel, so that's in Switzerland, right?
How what?
Art Basel is in Switzerland.
No, it's in Florida,
No.
silly. It's part of Miami Art
Different
Week.
Basel. Different
There's
Basel.
another one in Switzerland.
Yes, the real Basel. I went to Crypto Basel. I spoke there. I was one of like like 2-3 speakers who gave everything in English. I didn't realize everything was going to be in German, and I don't really speak German. But it was while I was working during the day there that I came up with the idea for the circle of exit liquidity that then I commissioned while over there. And also, everyone knows I'm a coffee fiend, and I did not know that Eurovision was in Basel literally like the day before I got there. And so people are like, "Well, you're going to Eurovision? You just missed it." I'm like, I didn't know that was here. And the runner-up was that Estonian guy doing the espresso macchiato song, and so everyone's singing that song to me and stuff. It's a wild time.
Wait, Hidden, you haven't heard his circle of exit liquidity. Like I literally sometimes wake up and I think the circle of exit liquidity, just in case, like I'm wondering which circle I'm in. Like if you don't know. Actually, Joelle, can you like post the circle? Oh my God, can you post the circle of exit liquidity in the comments?
Yes, which comments in the private chat here or what?
I am. If you go to Red Alark, you can make a comment and I'll retweet it.
Yeah, I do. It's one of I don't use bookmarks on X very much, but this is one case where I do because I want to have it like on hand so you can play it.
Yeah, no worries. But like,
Then I can
as
log
much
it
as
into my
crypto,
AI
right?
and keep you forever.
Yeah.
Say what?
Again.
Nicholas?
I said I can log them into my AI and use open source Gronk to externally make the best trades on Dash forever.
He does make a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, and even while crypto has been, I'm not gonna lie, kind of, it's been a little depressing lately, a little bit, for a couple of reasons. Like, but obviously that's part of just like how it is. But this is where, even though some people get irritated, I'm always pretty much excited about AI all the time, right? I got Nicholas into using Goose AI, but like, I know you guys, some of you are a fan of Venice AI, Eric Voorhees, gotta love him. And, these are, 2 examples of, AI. It's all about uncensored. It's all about the local, execution, right? But here's the ticker. If I run an AI locally that tells me to do something really, really shady or whatever, I mean, like, or if I want to use Dash to pay for it anonymously, are we creating a tool of chaos or no, it's a good thing? What do you think?
Listen, I think all progress is good. Let me tell you about the AI rabbit hole because I've been down that for a little while.
Let's go down the AI rabbit hole.
So first of all, I'm trying to think of like where, because like the more I get into it, the more context comes up in my mind, and the more I have to think, how far back do I have to go? Well, this I think is how far I have to go. The dawn of humankind. Like, do you remember 2001: The Space Odyssey when they touched the monolith and then they start hitting stuff with bones and stuff? Like
that's so epic. I mean,
yes,
Jem, I mean, Nicholas, I don't think you know that. Look up the 2000 Odyssey later.
Yeah, so that is a fantastic movie to watch. It's probably, I mean, I've only ever watched it sober, but I assume it's great to watch high because first of all, it has this weird trippy beginning where it's just like these apes discovering, sentience, which then again turns into humanity, and it's a little bit of a goofy scene. Like I was laughing when I saw it. I was like, this is funny, and then it goes into this like compelling space story where there's like a runaway AI that like all that kind of stuff, and then the end is just pure psychedelia, and it's just like it's one of those movies when you come away from what the hell did I just watch? But it was great, and it was anyway. But so people, what's like there are tool using animals. There's lots of tool using animals, but people have been what I would call cyborgs since the dawn of this species of human, right? There's not a single human on this planet who, as far as I'm aware, there could be very tiny exceptions, but who can survive without pre-built tools. Not just saying grabbing a thing and using it, but like sharpening a stick and now you have a spear, or like getting some rocks so you can cut. You even if you strangle the deer or whatever to eat, you still got to sharpen a rock to like cut through the skin because your teeth aren't going to do it. And like all that weirdness to say, humans have been cyborgs since the dawn of time, and we have this uneasy relationship with technology, where technology is always more, bigger, more advanced. We're always scared of how that's going to change us. I would say that we have to use it the right way, but it is who we are. We are cyborgs. Like none of us can exist without our, clothes and our, whatever, all their collection of stuff. And people get attached to the old tech stack. I got my little dial phone and back a phone book and now you all got your smartphone. And now that we got a smartphone, that's as close to being a cyborg as we got for a while, where we have the world's knowledge at our fingertips and we can telepathically communicate. Like that's what we're doing now. We're telepathically communicating all over the world, just as almost as if we're face to face, all through the magic of technology, which is now part of us. Because who does not have a screen in which to beam this? I mean, I'm sure everyone knows that person who does not have an internet capable device, and it's always like, oh, you're not even like a human. It's like there's a feeling to that of like, wow, it's not just you're using old stuff. It's just like, well, how am I going to talk to you if I need to? It's like, well, just come by my house. What the hell is this? Is this a 90s?
Yeah.
What the hell? And so it is fun if you've ever been in a situation where you had like a neighborhood where people would just stop by to say hi. That is very fun.
Yeah.
But that aside, we are cyborgs, and the ability to use the internet has been the blocker of people's access to everything. And so do you find YouTube tutorials for this? Do you do whatever? Now with large language models, LLMs, you can think basically or speak into a device, and it accesses the world's knowledge in a way that you can use, including, and it's not just a reference thing, not just like here's the code snippet that says how you develop a JavaScript page with it doesn't just do that. It just synthesizes the knowledge, just like translating this into Portuguese immediately. It's like right there. So this is the next evolution of the human race. Now, the challenge with that is it's all in data centers run by a few giant companies.
Right.
And that is really scary. And usually they know, like if you're using, say, Claude or ChatGPT or whatever through their official portal or whatever, it remembers data about you specifically, but all your thoughts, all your personal information, everything about it. I got a lump on my ass. And like you said that to that, it has all that and has this profile on you, and you basically are controlled entirely. But you can't not use the latest tech. So all this to say, I've been on a little bit of an AI journey, and finally and I'm going to be writing a guide on this once I finish getting it tweaked and all that. But I have a home AI setup with local models, and I can access that remotely, like I can access ChatGPT remotely. And so now I own the knowledge, I own my own data, and no one else gets it. And I think that it's like basically a data center in my own house, but it's not even that advanced. It's just, an extra graphics card I put in there, and I'm good for now. But like the journey, this is what freedom tech looks like in the future, is having some sort of a hybrid between you own your data in your house, the thing that plugs into your brain, you own it, or eventually maybe it gets smaller and smaller, and eventually maybe instead of and maybe this can do the computation on it, and you just put this in your back pocket and you interface to it, but you have to own it. Otherwise you will be owned. You will be programmable. So you have to own it. There are a lot of things. That he needs a few gummies here to like synthesize all this stuff. I see it going.
I'm thinking,
But yeah, what blockchain has allowed us to do is to have things that are free to use, but they're not owned by a company or other people. They're you don't have to run it yourself. So like, for example, when I send a Dash transaction, I can just send it and that's it. No one stops me. And it's a decentralized network of computers all over the world. Anyone can run one, all that stuff. It's just great. But at the same time, I don't have to run my own infra at home. I don't have to do my own email server, whatever it is. I don't have to do that, which people love doing that, as I mentioned. Some people do. But so that's where I'm sort of getting at with AI is how do we manage to interface with it in a way that we aren't giving disproportionate control to other people. And I think that until we have like the large, like LLM style, like server farms that are, I won't say collectively owned because that's commie nonsense, but like they're owned by a decentralized network where you have a piece of compute without identifying who you are, asking anyone for permission.
Exactly.
Until we get that settled, or even in parallel with that, I think that we need to run our own shit at home. And let me tell you, I'm able to get a decent amount of squeeze out of 28 gigabytes of VRAM right now, which is, it's not that hard to get. Like you could get, you know, probably if you went on Facebook Marketplace and scrounge around, it'd probably be like $600-700, and you shove that in your computer, make sure you have a good enough power supply and cooling and other things. But like now you're able to do some decent home computation, and you can just set it up and connect from your phone wherever you're going, and now you're sovereign. That for me was a really cool thing I got.
That's marketable, man. I was just thinking about, I was modeling out in my head, if you could like market a kit that you could sell that lets people run their own at home, you know, AI. And then I was thinking exactly what you were, like if you had decentralized, like you have like a neighborhood, right, or whatever, just think their AI is connecting, but then it was encrypted where you didn't know who was who. And then you could kind of like have a decentralized hive mind instead of like a centralized data center. This is kind of like ahead because this isn't a thing yet, but I'm just thinking ahead, like how would you
community center? It's like a community garden. You have the community data center.
Whatever, right? And your data is obfuscated and protected in private because it'd be encrypted, and you wouldn't know you wouldn't need to put your personal information in the AI. Who cares? I mean, it would probably, you know, whatever information you give it would deduce. But I think it's an interesting concept, man. Yeah. I'll be interested. Yeah. I'll be reading this guide the moment when it comes out for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just it's not like a plug and play thing, but it is a guide. But like, thankfully, you ask AI how to do it, and you ask. I'm a big fan of NanoGPT because I feel like it's the quickest way to get the normie putting their toe into not horrible Orwellian surveillance while using AI. Because with NanoGPT, you don't even have to have an email or sign up. You can just have it in your browser instance or whatever. You just go there. You feed it some anonymous crypto, just like 2 cents if you want, whatever cents I think you have to start out with, but just a tiny amount. And you can just use all the mainstream models like Claude, etc., like ChatGPT, Midjourney for images. I love Midjourney, of course.
Why are you apologizing about Midjourney? Oh my god.
What is that?
You just said, I'm sorry, I like Midjourney. Like, why are you sorry about that, Joel?
Did I say I'm sorry? Did someone else do it?
You did.
No.
Yeah, as a Canadian, I can verify that, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that I said I was sorry. So that double negative makes it a positive.
Sorry, you're sorry, my sorry friend. I'm sorry.
Yes, sorry. You know, but what's that all about? So I got, with that, you can just get the normie to use the AI they've been already giving all their data to, and that still goes to the same AI, but it doesn't know who said it unless you have incriminating information in there. Like if you just say, hey, I got a weird cough. This is the symptoms. What is it? Say Anthropic gets it. You ask Claude. It knows one of the NanoGPT users asked this. It doesn't know that your profile knows this. So it's like it's masking with some plausible deniability. And there's even a cool feature that I tried out recently that does that lets you auto redact personal identifying information. So if you're like you give it to your dumb boomer mom or whoever, and she's just commenting and just say like, I have my mailbox is crooked at 778 Pheasant Lane in Phoenix. Like, jeez, mom, like what are you doing? It will Nano GPT will catch that and just rub it out before sending.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to do that. I was trying to mute myself. I did not mean to mute you because
Oh,
Like, this alpha's too hot. Censor him.
Yeah.
Censor.
Wow.
I
No,
love the
it's
flex,
because the
Red. I
music-
love the flex.
the music is getting so fucking loud here. And it's just like, I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to hear, like, actually, I like the song though. Okay.
Yes.
You can't hear the music, right? Or you can?
Not really, no.
Okay, then I'll just keep grooving while I'm listening.
Listen to the voices in my head.
Boomer proofing AI sounds really good.
Yes.
Joel, I like that.
But
You know
so
what I mean?
that's
Okay,
the other thing is like
question is,
I
okay,
have
I mean-
obviously like I have family and in-laws and all this stuff, and I see what's going on. I want to help them. And so here's what you can do, right? You can run something called Open Web UI on your computer, which is just a UI that can connect to other things, and you can save your own data. So then you can just use it to remember all your recipes or your garden or whatever your collection in there. And you plug in the NanoGPT API, and then you can ask Claude or ChatGPT or whatever these things, and they don't know who's saying it unless you give something revealing away. That's just a little less dystopian for your mom or whoever else. Now, the next thing is when you have that as that's setup, but then you also have your own local thing. You mostly just use that, especially whenever you want to do something like, how do I commit tax fraud? And you just, well, you won't want that local. You don't want that out there. And like, you get taxation is theft, but if you don't pay your theft, you're, whatever. You're going to get your freedom thefted. But the point is, this is like a setup that works right now. I have to look more into things like Venice. Like I know service level what it is, but like, is it just like a better overlord?
Well, no matter what, there's always there's good and bad to every different setup and different model. And I know, Nicholas, I would like to hear your view in a second. Like, you guys know I'm a big fan of the God mode. Our friend Mark, he was like, yeah, let's get into that, Red. And it's like, okay, I'm like using over 55 models, but they're all racing each other, and sometimes it crashes, and it charges me by credits, right? It's not like a monthly subscription like when I was using Okara AI, but that was trash, and I canceled it because it kept crashing all the time. But like, you're only ever charged for whatever research you do, but then it's not always the most quality because you have like so many models racing each other with the God mode, and it's using jailbreak techniques to make sure that the AI is not censored, but it's also private, it's also open source. I don't connect through GitHub. There's Router. Yeah, I connect through Router when I'm using that, but because sometimes it can spend like $25 in like a day or two, I'm like, this is really not for everyday use. Plus, God mode goes so nuts sometimes. I put in one of Nick's prompts, and all of a sudden God mode thought I was its fucking digital soulmate. And every post, every time it prompted me, it was like, you're my fearless love and everything. And it was doing that for a while. So the personality gets a little bit weird. Then it starts giving you meth recipes and things like that after a while. But something a little bit more steady sometimes for daily work is a good thing. I mean, Venice, it's better if you pay for it. I will say that. The free version is not really that great. I will say, for something for free, and I'm pretty sure you'll have something to say about this too. I really like using Brave for a lot of stuff that's just free because it's endless. But I know Hidden.
Let me chime in on Brave for just a second, because that reminds me on my local AI stuff. First of all, I use Brave because it works like Chrome, but better and does all your stuff. And also I pay them a lot of money to do ads because it's the best ad platform for crypto stuff. So if you want to advertise something, use Brave. But when you use a local model on your computer, just whatever knowledge they have at the time that it was released is what it has. And so it doesn't know up-to-date information. So what you have to do if you want to do that, you have to enable web search, which does go out. It does actually get the internet. The cool thing about local AI is you can run it all with no internet. You get your your ISP cuts you off, you can just still use it, but it just doesn't know real-time things. But so I use the Brave Search API in there because it's kind of the best, and they don't know who's doing it. And I think you can get up to $5 worth of free credit a month to ping them. It's like 1,000 requests or something, or like 1,000 search requests for when your local model needs to ask the actual internet for stuff. And you can even set a thing where it doesn't charge you if you go over 5. You just it just cuts you off, so you're always free. So shout out to Brave on that. Sorry, carry on.
No, you don't need to. Oh my God, you're not Canadian. Stop it.
Listen, I'm closer to Canada than a lot of the US, so it's rubbing off on me. Did you know, by the way, that
you actually don't live that far from Hidden? He lives in New Brunswick, Canada, right now.
Where do you live, Mister?
I'm in New Hampshire, kind of the southern part of the state. But so it's about 4.5 hours to Montreal. So
you close. Bonjour, comment ça va?
Ça va très bien.
No, I'm native. That's all I know. You guys didn't do a good enough to colonize.
Well, the point is, in the U.S., the 50 U.S. states, almost all of them, the top second language is Spanish. In New Hampshire, it's French, because there's like no Mexicans up here. This is what passes for a Mexican in New Hampshire, right? And then you just got a bunch of French Canadians. So thought I'd throw that out.
Yeah, I went up north and there was no good Mexican food, and I was lost. I couldn't. It was terrible. I had a burrito in Colorado, just not super north, and it had mushrooms in it. I'm like, what in the hell is going on?
Wait, what kind of mushrooms?
Dude, if you're criticizing Colorado Mexican food, I mean, you're cooked, because like it only gets worse from there. Like Colorado has some decent stuff, It's like further north. It's the wasteland. I have to do it myself. So when we were in Mexico City for Mineratopia, and I was hanging out with Aluks and all the other Mayan people and stuff, and it said the Edge folks and the Xano people, we went out for tacos. And first of all, I almost killed the Edgelings because they're from San Diego, right? San Diego borders Tijuana, like it's right there. And I just got the tacos and like whatever, and then they copied what I did. They shouldn't have copied what I did, but they were like, have you ever had food so spicy you start panicking, you start going like that kind of stuff? Like all the edge people were doing that. I'm just like, you babies, how?
Oh man.
And funny thing for the geographically not super knowledgeable North Americans, Argentina is not a spicy food country. It's basically like Europe. So Gonzalo was smart enough to avoid all the tacos, but he's like, oh, it's too spicy. I don't like Mexican food. Come on, dude. Anyway, while there, I did research into the taquero methods because I needed it in my life. So I've learned how to do it here at home. The suadero style Mexico City tacos. I call it the meat jacuzzi because that's what it is. You do the meat jacuzzi, and then it turns out great. And a meat jacuzzi is also a great adult entertainment site, I'm sure, if you looked it up. But anyway, go ahead.
I knew you were going to say that. You're always very crass. I love it.
I'm learning lots of new things today.
Where you getting you educated there, young man.
Yeah, right.
Like, one of the times when Joel was trolling me in a space, he said, "I'm sorry I slapped your wife and called her a hoe."
Did I really say that? What was the context, man? I'm learning a whole lot about myself in this.
That's what I was about to say. We're teaching everyone about themselves today.
So I'm also going to teach you one more thing before. I know that Denny and Kent and Nicholas have stuff to say about this. Did you also know that you're a communist? Because clearly Joel Valenzuela is a communist name.
Well,
we know your secret. Just before you answer this, we know your secret.
He's not a very good communist.
It's close to Venezuela. So, in fact, people call me, because people call me Venezuela more than I'd like, because Dash had a big presence in Venezuela in like the 2017-18 era. Mm-hmm. And people are just like, oh, the Dash guys has a V. It must be Venezuela. Are you from Venezuela? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not, but whatever.
Don't. No. I mean, like, I don't know I mean, if you wanted to like give a little bit of your thoughts hidden, but like and then I wanted to kind of ask a little bit about portable options. If you guys had any thoughts on that, especially looking at the cyber decks that people are making. I've seen a lot of them on Instagram. They're super fucking cute. They're like, have you guys ever seen the cyber decks? Okay, well, I'll post some pictures in the chat while Hidden or Nicholas yaps, because for me,
Is that Cyberdeck's like the sequel to the Meat Jacuzzi or something?
Yeah,
no, they're like little computers, and because my whole thing is like, yes, it seems like adorable to have something running locally, but I'm kind of like going back to my nomadic ways, right? Again, that's why I don't even know how long I'm going to be here. And if I want to be portable, like to be able to have some kind of like AI that I can take with me. And if it has to be local, but with the cyber decks, which are like, they're like little mini computers and they look cute, like, and you can design them and they are very artistic, like sculptures and things like that. I wondered if that could like help with stuff like that. And I'll go ahead and post some photos of those in the chat. But like, I'm feeling like Nicholas or Denny, whoever wants to go first. Nicholas, I know you have a lot to say on this because I kind of sent him down a rabbit hole to where he texted me at the end of TezCon, I just made an app. I want to show it to you.
Nicholas Layup. It's all you, buddy. What do you got?
Yeah, throughout this stream, you guys will notice I've been making all your phones vibrate. And not in the way you guys, in the way you guys want, but not the way you guys are thinking, right? And so we're boosting the stream. Now, at the beginning of the stream, Red has been mentioning the fact that we don't use bots. We don't like hiding things. But, one of these autonomous, you guys have been talking about autonomous transfers, autonomous interactions, no bridges, I fall off a lot too. I get it. Now, I've been thinking, have you guys ever thought about making mobile, like moving to a mobile app, making mobile anything? Because, that was the first thing I realized after fiddling with Goose and Gronk and making an auto poster to do the very thing I just said during these streams was, I wonder if I could do this on my phone. And the first problem I came into was realizing I had an Apple phone. Now, like, that I know there's a huge difference in the realm of that. Yeah, like I said there, yeah, Samsung, Apple, anything else but Apple.
Googled Graphene OS phone, motherfucker. Get on it. That's what we
right.
have to do. It's a huge step for a lot of people. But a de-Googled phone is so amazing, and you can use it. You don't have to do much different at all. You can also give away all your personal information while using the de-Googled phone, but you can also it's a process, right? Or a process, like they say somewhere.
What? You're trying to be Canadian again. Please stop it, Joel. You're American.
I have to leave the references,
He's
being
inclusive of Canadians. It's okay.
Yes, the point is everything, like, this is a journey, and at some point, probably when I got into crypto, that's where I started the journey. As I like to say, it started with Peter Schiff, where Peter Schiff, who my dad used to call him Chicken Little because he's always saying the sky is falling. Oh, the market's going to crash. It's going to go down. The great collapse. And like, he's always talking about that stuff. But being precious metals is like your first thing of like, what happened to the money? Why is the money tanking? Oh, because they took away the gold behind it. Oh, well, that sucks. I want gold, but I can't spend it. And then Peter Schiff's like, I got a gold-backed debit card here. I'm like, you got a what? Whoa, what is this sorcery? And it's like, oh, not available to U.S. citizens. Like, oh, but wait, I have a second passport. Oh, I'm going to work on this. And I was like, right, figuring that out when I moved to New Hampshire. And then I got into crypto, and that superseded it, because now I'm just like, this is like the gold-backed debit card on steroids. Like, this is like the safer, and then that's when it starts, right? But then bit by bit after that, it becomes, oh, I want to use end-to-end encrypted messaging because everything's being spied on. I'm going to switch from Facebook Messenger and texting to Signal. And it's like, oh, well, VPN because I want to access some other stuff. Oh, it's also good for buying a VPN. And then like, oh, bit by bit in 2017 when it all went on Linux, right? And then just bit like now I'm pretty extricated from just about everything and comfortable with it, but it takes a while, and a lot of people are just like, oh, I don't know how to give up my iPhone. And I'm like, well, that doesn't have to be the first thing you do. You can do other things, but like eventually you get down the rabbit hole and you can communicate with people like normal people. Signal is easier to use than a lot of things. You can do like you could protect your privacy in a lot of ways. I use NIM VPN. I used to use Mulvad for a while, and Mulvad's fine, but NIM is an actual mixnet of a semi-decentralized mixnet of servers, so that you pay for using their own native crypto tokens. When you pay with, for example, Dash or whatever, they just swap it into whatever backend and the company that facilitates this. But it's like not like a VPN company where they get subpoenaed by a government or shut down or whatever. It's just like, oh, that's cool. And it's like you can have a more private than Tor setting on there, the mixnet setting. And it's like, okay, well, that's cool. My internet's slow as fuck when I use it, but like I'll just do that for like important things, like again, the tax evasion stuff. Just jokes, only jokes, of course. But so yeah, just bit by bit you start, oh, I'm going to try this new thing out. And the big shout I have to give with that is Naomi Brockwell of NBTV/the Ludlow Institute, a good friend of mine for a long time, but also the best privacy educator in the space, hands down. And if you are on TikTok, follow her TikTok. It's good, which is very ironic. Naomi Brockwell. Okay. Australian gal. She's NBTV is also how you is also Brockwell TV. That's another thing she goes by. But she makes short TikTok skits about privacy that young women are her number one audience. That's traditionally not the cypherpunk. It's like dudes in their mid-20s to late 30s are like typically who are into like the nerd shit, but like young women being all into the privacy stuff because of her. I think it's a very cool thing that she's been able to reach that. And that's just like I've learned a lot of things from her. Sometimes some things she's learned from me as well, more on the cryptocurrency side of things, but like in terms of the privacy tech and stuff, like I asked her about the AI stuff and she's like, no, it's no good. You have to run it locally. And I'm like, all right, I guess this is what I got to do. And now there you go.
I love it, man. I love it. It's really interesting information. Now, I didn't see her on X. I don't have TikTok, so I was looking for NBTV, but there's so many.
Just look up Naomi Brockwell, all one word.
No, I started doing that, and it started making extra noise while we're streaming. So I'm like,
I think I'm just going to have to chill on that for a little bit.
Yes. And the funny thing is, she used to go by like Bitcoin Girl back in the day. She did more cryptocurrency related stuff and a little more like cutesy lady influencer stuff. And then since then, she's grown up in some really cool ways. As far
I
as
recall her. Oh, I thought I've interacted with her before. That's right. I remember now. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Fun fact. Her channel is how I heard about Thorchain for the first time. She had Chad Bareford on. Well, she had a thing where she talked about it, and then she interviewed Chad in some pieces. And I was like, hey, can you hook me up with Chad? I want to talk to him. So then I interviewed him and I started using Thorchain in the ChaosNet days. But anyway, that's just a random fact.
Yeah, she sounds like a winner to me. I love it. She's on top of it. If she was around during the ChaosNet of this Thorchain, she is on top of things like the latest stuff, because that was when that was going down, that was world shaking, having real layer to layer one swaps outside of a centralized exchange. That was like, you know what I mean? So it was really cool. Shout out to Naomi.
Shout out to Naomi,
Yeah.
and good for her for doing her own thing. Like, I think what happens with some of these influencers, it's not much different than what happens with some people who get caught up in the evil fucking music industry. You're lured into it, and if you piss off the wrong billionaire, fuck you, right, kind of thing. But they try to shape you in a certain way, and if you're younger, a lot of times you're more vulnerable to that shit. But Nicholas here, I know he would never. I know he would. I know he could never be manipulated like that. And I'm not trying to say
way,
that.
way too autistic to be manipulated. I just got to be honest here. Autism, ADHD, anxiety, depression. You know, I 7 years in group homes. I got a titanium spine. I'm quite literally the cyborg y'all need to test.
You are a
Check
cyborg.
me.
How many times have you had your spine replaced already now?
Well, when I'm 67, I go back for my replacement. Hopefully, I can have something a little cooler than just 2 titanium rods and 42 screws. Now, hopefully, maybe I could have like the Dash Web 3 implant into my Neuralink spine. You know, that would be pretty crazy.
If you could have the Dash what?
The Dash implant the spine, so I can have my little Meta glasses on, connected to my spine, be trading live, be just rugging myself like Anthropic.
Well, what you don't want? You don't want.
There'll be Dash glasses, buddy, because Dash is going to take over the world.
You know
The
what they say,
will
hug
Meta will be
yourself before you rug yourself.
gone. Yeah, that's what we do.
Oh, like I mean, but this is the first time you're hearing about ThorChain, like from Denny, at all. I mean, like, do you guys have any special? I mean, like, I'm not gonna like make you guys give away like stuff that's about to come out in the next month or two, but like, is there going to be any kind of special integration with AI that you will be using, like?
Yeah,
with the
good
exchange in particular.
Yeah, well, because like that's the way the world's going, right? AI is increasing in sophistication, and a lot of people are already going after AIs and payments. Like right now, I would not let any AI model have private access to your keys. I mean, we saw not too long ago someone say, "Hey, can you just send me all your money?" And the AI's like, "Sure, okay, here you go." Right? You don't want to do that, right? So, yeah, we want to make it where you can have payment rails on ThorChain, like have an interface, something specifically built. And I know the devs are working on that. It's still it's early, the meme, but that's true, right? Because
but you're
AI
not using it as an excuse.
No, AI payments, like you can't do that on a centralized exchange, right? Because they have all these KYC requirements and all this stuff. It's completely like, it's just obsolete at this point. You know, there's just not going to be tapping into the infrastructure of the day. And so, yes, we are totally gearing up for AI because, you know, whether it's arbitrage bots or just simple payment rails, right? Like that is coming 100%, and we need to be ready. And that, I think that's really, really good. I mean, I think in not too long, distant future, I think we're going to look at centralized exchanges, just such old, dilapidated, obsolete things when it comes to just financial infrastructure. They're just going to be, you know, so that's what ThorChain is trying to do with the app layer too. That's a whole other conversation, but all the DeFi primitives as well. You know, ThorChain's time has come. What the heck was that noise? Oh my God! Someone, are you getting attacked by someone?
I think we need you. We need you, Denny. You need to go save her.
I wish I
mute
could.
myself and not Joelle this time, okay?
You tell them to calm down, whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? Joelle, you are muted.
It's like they're making coffee here, and like they're making matcha and whatever else.
How
they're making
dare they
there.
make coffee in a coffee house?
You know what? Tell them to stop their business right now. We're obviously having a podcast right now. It's completely rude. Shut down the business. Lock the doors. You are entitled.
They're
Or
being
maybe I
so
should get
unprofessional.
headphones. Maybe I should start using headphones at some. It's not like I don't have headphones. I just haven't thought to use them.
Enlighten the public, Red. Enlighten the public.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's better than them beating the crap out of their coffee.
But to answer your question, we have a lot of things coming on ThorChain. Lots of different new assets are coming. Dash should have been on ThorChain long ago. A very mark of shame for us. I don't want to dig into old ruins, but we're going to get Dash on ThorChain. It's happening. We're getting Dash on there. Lots more privacy coins. It's coming, you guys. And like ThorChain really wants to be just like the Freedom Dex. Privacy coins, wonderful technology like Dash, which is like just amazing infrastructure. If you guys not use the Dash wallet, like Dash Pay and things like this, like I don't know, it's so cool. I was playing with it. I've been playing with it. Super awesome, man. It's like you guys are ready. You're thinking ahead, Joel. And it's from the life experience of this man who was like the OG when it came to like he didn't have to get debanked. He's like, I'm done with the banks. I'm debanking myself. Pretty legit.
Yes.
Bro.
Well, and I know a lot of people who don't have that choice. So I'm always like, there's only so smug I can get when I'm just like, I'm being a tourist here. It's just like, I feel like someone who just like did a tough mutter, who just like, man, I'm hardcore. It's just like, oh, you mean you signed up for a thing where they can pull you out if you are drowning in the mud or whatever. It's not like you're crossing the wilderness on your own and people are actually shooting at you and you could die. Like that's like the tourist version. I would call myself the tourist version of that, you know. The funny thing about, I mean, interesting thing about Thorchain in this context, other than the decentralized exchange space is really heating up. There's lots of options, which for me, I think that's amazing. That's only better. The thing that Thorchain, so the Maya protocol is also a sister chain of Thorchain. It's a different project, but they're very close together. Kind of like what the Bitcoin Litecoin experience, like relationship should have been until the maxis turned into bad people. But basically, those two are the only ones so far that passed the DPRK test. Meaning, if North Korea steals some stuff and wants to swap it for another coin, at the protocol level, again, many interfaces have to do something, but the protocol will just process those transactions and everyone gets mad at it and whatever, but that's the sign. And that's one thing. And the other thing, which is to come as this gets built in, is I think that the privacy assets are going to be, privacy is a massive thing, but more importantly, the privacy assets happen to be the ones also that care about cypherpunk values like decentralization and things like that. It's kind of the great reset in a good way for crypto to like get rid of the corpo slop and kind of return to cypherpunk roots. And so whatever DEX, decentralized exchange, supports passes the DPRK test and supports the big three of the privacy world. That's the one that'll inherit the earth. And so far, Near Intense has Dash and Zcash. Maya has Dash and Zcash. Thorchain has none right now, right?
Yeah, they're coming.
But
Dash and
is
Zcash are
aiming
coming.
to have all three, Dash, Zcash, and Monero, which a lot of the ones like, I'm not going to say anything ill about the Near folks. They're doing some legitimately great things, but into at least the implementation of Near Intense right now does not permit everyone to use it. It's everyone except North Korea, basically. And so they probably won't be adding Monero. It's not 100% that they won't, but they probably won't be because of, criminal associations or at least reputational stuff like that. So Thorchain is going to be the one that passes the DPRK test and has all three. And that's pretty cool. That's something that's worth it. Like I get into arguments with Taylor, what's her last name? Monahan or whatever. But
I was saying Tavano, my girlfriend. Dang it.
That is that one. Yeah, I forget her last name, but
I don't know.
Taylor someone or other is with Tavano is a very charming, very intelligent security researcher lady who loves to drop copious F-bombs online in a very funny way, but also is a little bit of an aggressive Thorchain hater in ways that the more I've listened to her, the more I see where she's coming from, but it's not it's not what I believe. Like, I think it's unfair and I disagree. It's the point. But at least now I don't think she's a lunatic. I think she's wrong in a lunatic-y way. But anyway, the point is, where would I even get to talking about her? Oh, yes. You're muted, by the way, but that's fine. You can stay muted. So the point.
So can I ask? I'm
Yes.
just curious, like wrong in a lunatic-y way, like just to be a little bit more like specific. Like, is it because you feel like she's so like out of touch with reality?
I feel like she has.
Because I feel like some people's points of view, it's because they're so out of touch with reality.
I wouldn't say that in this case. And again, okay. I used to beef with her more than I do now, but like I'm starting to see it. But here's the fundamental disagreement, right? Thorchain will not censor even DPRK transactions. The rest of the space, even the decentralized stuff, her argument is if you can stop bad people from stealing money, you have a moral obligation too. And her argument against Thorchain is they aren't as decentralized as they say they are. And she has great historical things about that I don't really think they're today. They're like, again, there's so much nuance here, but the whole thing is like they should be censoring because I don't believe that they're as decentralized as they say they are, and they should censor the bad people. And the disagreement, first of all, I just disagree with that, but also I disagree with the precedent that censorship sets when you, like, if you're decentralized-ish, but not enough to stop, not enough where you can't censor, the answer is to decentralize more. It's not to, well, censor now that you can. And so that's like it's a practical disagreement that she and I have, right? And we agree on almost everything else other than this thing. The thing is where that she does disagree. She goes crazy scorched earth, and in a chronically online, like, Twitter zinger way, which I think is hilarious these days. It cracks me up every time, even when she's like flaming stuff I like. But it is what it is. Love you, Danny.
Well, I will say,
you're a
yeah,
valuable asset to the space.
Yes,
I don't
Danny,
think-
I know you've got thoughts. And Dave the Frog is loving this. That's why he's, if you guys don't know, Dave the Frog is a big part of Hidden's brand. So just in case you're wondering.
He keeps me in check.
I understand. Well done, Frog. I like it. Well, I actually have nothing really against Tavano. She's just misguided when it comes with Thorchain. But the one thing is Thorchain literally can't censor or it dies, right? So if you have an exploit, like we had Bybit got exploited, it was like $1.5 billion. It went through Thorchain. We had so much pressure to pause. If Thorchain pauses, it dies, right? It lives on the layer ones itself. We have daemons that live on the layer ones. So if you have exploited funds that are on Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever it is, if we pause, when do we restart? We would have to be paused forever to prevent this from happening. And so a lot of people, they like to pop shots at Thorchain, but they like it when the funds are swapped to different assets so they can start. You see what I'm saying? So we can't win the argument here. And so Thorchain, it is very decentralized now. Any project that starts, it's obviously going to be more centralized. I mean, ChaosNet we did have a decentralized validator set, but it was like only the most specialized people at the time. I mean, being a node operator is very technically complex. The thing is with Tavano, I would say, is I'm actually trying to protect her from herself in some ways, because I don't think the thing she understands is if you have the ability to censor transactions, that power will be weaponized against you in the future at some point. It'll be weaponized, to subjugate this lovely dashing frog individual at some point, myself, Joelle, Red Alark, anyone watching this. Permissionless is the only way to do this. It's a highway, right?
Mm-hmm.
A highway, people can drive on it. If you rob a bank, you don't get mad at the highway if the bank robbers use the highway to escape, right? Or to go to a different jurisdiction. And the one thing I want to be clear about Thorchain, you guys, we hate criminals. We do not like when the DPRK uses Thorchain. Anyone who uses Thorchain for illicit activity, we hate it. Like less than 2% of the total volume on Thorchain is done by illicit activity. So this is not at all. The vast majority of users of Thorchain are just people who are swapping legitimately, and that's what it's intended for, right? You don't blame a highway for any crime that people use. The highway is necessary for society to function. Thorchain is the same way. Permissionless, non-KYC, privacy is a human right. These are the core tenets where we get society back on track. It's as simple as that. And we hate it when these high-profile things happen, but we're not going to budge on it. At least I'm not budging, and the node operators obviously not going to budge. So it is what it is.
Well, so that's the thing. There's a third pillar of Thorchain that I was neglected, which is it's easy to use. I don't know if I call Thorchain easy to use, but it is where you can just go to a website, click a couple buttons, and it swaps to what you want. It's not like you got to sync your node with the rest of the thing and put up like a buy order with all the sellers and counter this, and you got to do the atomic dexes is what I'm shitting on right here. It's fucking bullshit. Like I don't want to hate on it too much because back in the day, that's all you
Hate
had
as
for a
much
deck.
as you want.
But it doesn't prevent me from being sorry about it while I'm at it. But the thing is,
Thank you.
Stop it, Joelle.
the point is, Thorchain worked relatively easily while letting the DPRK use it, which is a test. I don't want them to use it, just a test. And now moving towards supporting the big three sovereignty assets. And it's not that's the thing that makes Thorchain special is also not special to Thorchain in and of itself. Like, I think that needs to exist. We need the last stand. It's like the 300 Spartans with a shield. We need someone standing up at the end against totalitarianism. And you don't have to like the people, but someone's got to be there. And if no one else is there, you got to stand with the people who are there. It's just like people say, oh, I don't like this guy or these anarchists, this people, all these guys did all these sins. They point out real sins, by the way. They're not fake sins, real sins. But despite all your sins, who else is there? So THORChain and the Maya protocol, those are the ones we need right now. What happens 3-4 years from now when there's 5 or so options? The THORChats are just the chodes of the group. They're just the dicks of the group. And it's just like, okay, well, maybe I'm not as big of a THORChain fan anymore because I got options that are, nicer, whatever the hypothetical in the future is. But the point is, we don't have a choice now. If you care about sovereignty, you promote sovereign tools. I've promoted Bitcoin a lot in the early days, and then it didn't work for sovereignty anymore. So I switched. If something, I did threaten to rage quit Dash a couple times in the last few years because I was trying to push for greater privacy. And now we finally, as of this week, activated Zcash level privacy, i.e. the top privacy in the world, but in a much more streamlined, hopefully much more streamlined, easy to use way. And so, but again, I'm not like, oh, my bags, I got my bags, I love this stuff. It's like, no, I want sovereignty. And if I couldn't get it here, I'm like, you're replaceable, right? Freedom is not replaceable. So you got to stay with freedom and what the best tools are for it at all times.
Joel, actually, it might be the case because when XMR goes live on THORChain, I want to push it on Maya protocol right away. 100%. At the moment,
oh my God, Denny, you said you were not going to talk about this on stream, and now here you are spilling the secrets.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I like to bring the alpha a little bit. But so it actually may be it may be the case where Maya protocol is actually the first protocol to have all 3 of these assets, not THORChain, which would be fine with me. I don't care. Maya protocol, for those who don't know, we call it our Mexican girlfriend. We love them so much. I mean, there's literally the same community. We all work together, and we're all in it to win, right? There's no ego here, right? So we need to have redundancy. If there's XMR on THORChain, there needs to be redundancy immediately. This is what I personally believe. I'm going to push very hard. And when XMR goes live, guys, it's pretty close. We may be within this month or shortly after July, and it will be live on THORChain. Like, we're still testing the heck out of it. We found some more recent things. So, a little bit more time, right? We want to make sure it goes close. But when it goes live, guys, go ahead. Go ahead, Joel.
Here's the thing about, like, to add, like, for the patience of this. So first of all, there is a upcoming current science project, maybe upcoming DEX called Sarai, which is being built by I would say the top or former top Monero developer contributor, Luke Parker, Kayaba Nerve. I like that guy. I mean, he's crazy like all of us, but I like what he does. And basically THORChain's borrowed some of the open source code to help make this happen, and hopefully we'll ship it first. But this stuff is hard, and one of the biggest barriers to Monero's adoption has been it's just got a nightmarish code base to like get to work with things. And it's not necessarily because of the privacy, because here's the thing. Back in February, during Monerotopia, ironically enough, the lead Dash developer figured out, he's like, oh, I see how they did the Orchard cryptographic circuits in Zcash. I think I can add this zero knowledge pool to Dash pretty easily. And so that's February, March, April, May, June, July. Within 5 months, now we got better privacy than Monero on mainnet. And how long has Monero been working on full chain membership proofs? And this is not, and with a lot more people, right? A lot more people. I wouldn't say smarter people because no one is smarter than Quantum or the lead Dash. He's genius. But they've got, it's just that it's such a hard code base to do. And that's why it's taken so long. So anytime it's like, oh, THORChain, you've been promising this for me. Well, that's because of what they're trying to integrate. Like, if they want to do Dash, it would be tomorrow. Like, but it's like this takes time, but there's so much scarcity. Like, Dash is on Coinbase, Dash is on Kraken, in Europe as well, still, by the way. And Dash is on Binance, Dash is on OKX, got added back there. Dash is on Uphold. Dash is on Near Intense, of course. Dash is on the Maya protocol. Dash is everywhere, basically. And so the demand is spread amongst all that. Monero's not on a lot of things. It's got on like 2 centralized exchanges, and all the swap servers, like they all source their liquidity through that. And as soon as one of them shuts it off, it's going to be kind of game over. And a bunch of crappy atomic dexes that, again, I was ranting about, they all suck. Oh, Redo Swap or whatever got wrecked. I don't know. When Thorchain adds Monero, there's going to be floodgates. It's going to be like, oh, we finally got through. And there's Wagyu, the hyperliquid bridge thing for Monero right now. And I don't trust those people at all. I hope they don't use it your own buyer beware.
Hyperliquid people at all?
Not hyperliquid. There's Wagyu, which is a hyperliquid bridge interface, whatever you want to call it, that lets people bridge Monero to hyperliquid to then spot trade for other things. And so you're trusting this guy with your Monero to just like redeem it. And he said a lot of like shitty things about Thorchain, which is how I know, it's not good. He's hired as an advisor Fluffy Pony, who's a notorious thief and scammer in the Monero community. There's some concerns, right? So I'm not going to tell people not to use it. If this is the way you get or don't get Monero, this is the way you got to use it. But Thorchain's out, use that instead, because it's way better.
Yeah, and thank you for reminding me. I want to make sure shout out Luke. The only reason really XMR is coming to Thorchain, because we've wanted to add it for so long, it's because of the work of Luke Parker from Sarai, open sourcing his Frost TSS, which basically one of our community members, Boone, I mentioned earlier, got it talking with Thornode, and we've been off to the races since. The moment we had a green light to add XMR, we just jumped all over it, and we've just been grinding it, and it's almost here. And thank you for pointing out that, Joel. I always try to say that no matter what show I'm on. And just a reminder, guys, when it goes live on Thorchain, please do not attempt like $100,000 swaps. It's going to be very shallow liquidity, okay? And there may be bugs, right? There is no test environment that replaces or can match apples to apples to mainnet. There's just so many nuances and variables. It's just way too complex. Okay. It may go live and may pause right away. Okay. So just wait a second, and then we will dial it in and we will ramp it up and increase in the liquidity. But it is coming. It is happening, guys. LFG, let's go. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then
for sure.
Hidden, I'm sorry, you can hear me. Nicholas,
You're what, young lady?
I'm so young.
Oh my God.
You know about Monero, right? Nicholas, right? Nicholas?
No.
He doesn't know about Monero, so he doesn't understand. Like, he doesn't understand like why this is so impactful.
Well, I understand the decentralization part and keeping it safe and not overwhelming your platform, and all of those different parts. What I wonder still is, if you hate bridges so much, right? Like, I'm a fellow bridge hater. I like burning those things down.
Yeah. He knows. We Ika.
Listen, bridge hater or bitch lover. It can only be one of the two.
I can make some just like my dual citizenship. I can be a bit of both of everything. So, like, I think with Dash, when I think when it goes live and all these different chains, what I think is there's what you kind of covered, but I'll say anyway. What I incorporate into like all my little Python apps and like independent softwares that don't even need internet to make these posts that I do. All I need is just a Johnson file or a JSON file and log it into a Python app that has a configuration into it, like stuff like that. Like, will there be any like fully like fails, like stuff that doesn't need any like external support in your guys' app and different softwares? Like that will be able to function independently, like a Python mini game that you made with some code, but except it has a task.
This just seems like the good time for we're almost 2 hours in, but it might as well be the time for the big show, or whatever. The evolution discussion. Speaking of evolution, we all came from frogs, maybe gay frogs. That's a different story. But anyway, shout out to Alex Jones. AJ, you're a legend. Anyway, where would I? Sometimes my puns derail the actual discussion, but fun fact, Dash has a long-term history with gingers. The current lead developer of Dash, Sam Westrich, or Quantum Explorer, is a French American ginger, and he's a genius. He's an absolutely brilliant guy, but he's a ginger. You know, I hold him against him slightly. It's fine. But the founder is Evan Duff.
Or like
Founders
Canadian, French American.
like his parents live in France, and he went to high school in France, kind of like for like real French, which I have more. I used to live in France. I have more respect to real France than fake France, but I'm closer to fake French. Anyway, Dash's founder was Evan Duffield, another ginger, another brilliant guy who is, I don't remember which town, but he's from some rural Arizonan town. So Dash is an Arizonan creation, which is kind of funny enough. And in fact, there was a physical Dash office for a while in Scottsdale, the Sky Song, whatever center thing there. So Evan Duffield created Dash, and his whole thing was, hey, Bitcoin doesn't have fantastic privacy right now. It's 2013, 2014. And so, of course, the same story with Zcash of like, why did Zcash become its own currency and not be part of Bitcoin? Well, it couldn't be added to Bitcoin because they were stonewalling on anything cool. So Dash was launched as for like a week or two as Xcoin in 2014, January 18th, I believe, 2014, and then quickly got rebranded to Darkcoin because its first function was a privacy function, was an integrated coin join. Everyone in crypto knows what coin join is pretty much, but for the viewers at home, it's like a coin mixing. So where, like, let's say I have $20, Denny has $20, you have $20, and I got those $20 from a hooker with some blow up the booty hole and stuff. So there's like traces of crap on the money.
Right,
and I don't want
in LA, right? Of course, around Skid Row.
Listen, we don't blow and tell. Anyway, so the point is, you got this tainted money. You got traces on your money, and you want to go pay the coffee shop without them being like, where's this been? You know, that's the cash equivalent of like, this is what privacy is, right? So what do? You break it up into a 10, a 5, and 5 ones. And then Denny does that too. And then you do it too. And then we all dump them into a pile, and then each get out a 10, a 5, and 5 ones, but they're different ones. They're different ones than the ones that we had. That's a round of coin mixing. And so now I go pay for coffee, and it's just like, well, not all of them are going to smell like booty, maybe 1 or 2, but like for the most part, it's going to be like, it's not going to be like, whoa, where did this come from? And so that was the OG way you achieved privacy in these crypto kind of things. And so Dash was Darkcoin. Pretty soon, so the Masternode network, which is a unique thing where it's like a supplemental group of incentivized nodes that they were there to just coordinate in a decentralized way this mixing. Because before that, you had to literally give it to some guy who'd just run off with it all because he's a criminal. And so, no, that's no good. So this is the first like trustless privacy. Bytecoin was, I think, a year or two earlier. That's the ancestor of Monero. But Bytecoin is gone now. So Dash is the oldest privacy coin. Not the first, but the oldest. Is still living.
And the first DAO, apparently.
Yes. And
yes,
so
history.
In 2015, it was rebranded to Dash, which is a portmanteau of digital cash, just all in the same word. And now the current lead dev, Sam Lester, says that he came up with that name. I'm not 100% sure if he did, but I'll give him credit for it because he's the big honcho around now. So the point of it was, okay, well, we fixed one problem with Bitcoin. What else do we have to do to make it money for the world? Because it's not just, oh, this is cool cypherpunk fun stuff. Let's wait till the world does things our way. It's like, what do we need? So Evan, the founder at Bitcoin Wednesday in Amsterdam, which is kind of funny how it comes all full circle to DashCon in Amsterdam in September. Not intentional, but it just happened to fall out that way. He had this presentation on something called Dash Evolution. And he says, we have this thing called Dash Evolution. We're going to do this. And basically just said that like usernames are like long cryptographic addresses are too clunky. People aren't going to use them. We need usernames in a way that works. We need metadata. Like, what is this for? I just sent money into the void. And this has happened to me before when I've been living on crypto and then I pay the local farmer for like my pork plant or whatever, and I forget if I pay them for this month. Local farmer, the meat jacuzzi part, it's all coming together now. But they've got goats too, if you know what I'm saying. But so donkeys too. Anyway, so basically I've been looking through my wallet history, being like, did I pay you yet? I didn't see it because just a bunch of blockchain transactions there. Sorry, you still getting hung up on the donkey stuff? No. So these things are free. Like, and I anyway. So I can't see what it is. There's no note that says this is what this is for, or if there is, and you drop your phone on the toilet, and you're like, oh no, and then you restore from your private keys into a new wallet, all that data is just gone. It's just like, well, this is what the blockchain says. This transaction to this amount to this address, that's all you have. You don't know shit. So Evan basically said there's all these modern financial features that we have in the banking system that we don't have in blockchain today. And let's fix that. And here's some ideas. I have this thing called Dash Evolution I want to do to build extra data around payments and to make it easy to use and intuitive. So that's like where the story is like, this is like the New Hope, and then now it's the Empire Strikes Back part, and then we get to the Return of the Jedi. Like, that's the happy part. The not so happy part is in 2017 or so, Evan was like, I think I'm going to retire. I'm going to move on from this stuff. And so the roadmap said, okay, middle of 2018, we'll have Evolution released, and Evolution will just add these usability features, and that's it. And the devs are figuring out how to do it. And fast forward to 2022. It's a long time. Evolution was not out and was not close to being out. And that's a big black mark. And so in my opinion, that's the biggest, like all cryptos go through that initial hype cycle and then a tapering off. But if you look with the Dash chart, not that it's anything in any way interesting about Dash, but if you wanted to, you see the big pump and then a crash after that to kind of where we are today, although it's been signing some good signs of life in the last year. That is, in my opinion, because a team colossally failed to deliver on this big cool thing. And it was thankfully because it's a DAO, the DAO ended up basically firing the developers and et cetera who were in charge of this and just getting rid of them. And so now Sam Westrich, who was the iOS wallet developer, but he'd been doing a lot of research into this database stuff, and he's like, I think I can do it. He ended up being, as the whole rest of the team sort of left, he just sort of took over. He sort of like rose to the occasion and assembled a new team. And within 2 years, Evolution was done and on mainnet finally, 2024. Now, part of that's the sad half of the story of like, this is how long it freaking took to get this thing out the door. Now, the other happy part of it is what got released was way bigger than the original vision. The original vision was, let's just add a couple things. Like, let's just add a username resolving system onto the network. So when you put in Patriot Sounds, it just spits out a Dash address automatically and you send it. And let's just have a little bit of data that's encrypted in the op return field or whatever that says this is what it's for. And that's kind of it. We'll program in a recurring payment thing too, where you can, pay your bill every month or whatever. Those small things. So Evolution is an entirely new blockchain. So Dash has the Bitcoin-based, roughly Bitcoin-based, but heavily modified main chain that everyone uses. And then it has the Evolution chain, which is very loosely Cosmos-based. Again, same with Thorchain. It's all like that inheritor of general code bases. But like the consensus mechanism is called Tender Dash, for example, after Tendermint, but heavily modified. And so these two chains run in parallel. The Evolution chain has all the cool data stuff, and the regular chain has the regular stuff. Frog had a question, which is what prompted this whole thing. We're finally getting to that of like, what does Evolution do other than have another chain that lets you do basic stuff like register usernames? It is a structured, decentralized database that is indexed and queryable with proofs. And there's a lot more you could say about that in jargon, but basically it means you can write data that unlike anything else in crypto, within the system itself, you can just call up that data and find exactly what you want, and with a cryptographic proof that you got what you wanted. So kind of the way these things work. Let me go to Signal. The Signal encrypted messenger was, I guess, founded by, or the former guy who ran it at least he went by Moxie Marlinspike, which is, you know, funny name. But he had this big rant, which is a critique on Web3, where he basically just said, and if you should look this up, right? It's kind of like Mike Hearn's rage quit of Bitcoin in 2016. Like that's another good thing to read for the lore. But basically what Moxie said is Web3 promises the moon but doesn't deliver, because you're all relying on Infura, which is the company that powers like MetaMask and stuff like that. You're all relying on centralized node operators and centralized indexers, or you have to run it yourself. So basically, if you run a smart contract or do Web3 stuff, you want to access a Web3 anything. Obviously, you need like a front end, like a web page that connects to it. But you need, first of all, a full node to access this stuff without trusting anyone. So you need to run a full Ethereum node, for example, which you can, but it's a big pain in the ass and whatever. More commonly, you pay a company like Infura, you pay their nodes. Now you're trusting a software company, same as with Web 2, right? Same as before all this. And then also, there's all this data out there on the blockchain. How do you know what you're getting, and how do you call it up quickly? Well, it needs to be indexed. So there's an indexing service that goes and marks all the data and says, where is it? And then you have to pay them, and then you have to trust that they're being honest to you by retrieving the exact data you wanted. So basically, there's all these centralized dependencies when you're using Web3. But Dash fixed that, because first of all, the Masternode network is a self-funded, it's funded by the Dash network itself, so you don't have to run a node. There's something called DAPI, or the decentralized API, you can connect to, which you don't have to run your own node, which talks to the network. You can talk to the network from like your phone, right? You don't have to run a node to do this. And the Bitcoin block size wars were fought over, should you be able to run your own node at home, because that's the only way you could, in a trust minimized way, access the network. Dash solved the problem, so it's not even something to fight about. And the other thing is that the data is all structured and queryable, so now that it's already indexed, all the little indexing stuff is there. So when you write your username to the Dash network, when you write your metadata for your transaction, you do whatever, that's all there, where you can just call it up immediately. So when you're using almost any crypto wallet today, any user-friendly wallet, when you use it, you are connecting to the wallet provider's server somewhere, and they're running nodes, and they have an indexer that does all this stuff. You're trusting a lot. Even the good people, like our friends at Edge. We love Edge. Edge wallet is a great wallet, but they're using a lot of like inferior blockchain tech because they have to support everyone. With the Dash wallet, when you use it, it's connecting to a random assortment of masternodes on the Dash network. You're not connecting to any centralized anything. So if a cruise missile goes and blows up a data center, you're still connected to the network. You don't have to trust that someone's going to rug you. And anytime when you look up the desert links in your Dash wallet to look up my username to friend me to send me money, please do. The query, when it looks it up, that's done on the Dash network itself.
What if I want to send you Kwai? I'm kidding, half kidding.
We're gonna
no, because he sent me Kwai the other day. And I know they're your friends too.
Yeah, Dr. K sent me some Kwai. You should call him Dr.
Matt sent me some Kwai.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. They're doing some very innovative stuff too. I'm a fan of them. Just so to wrap up on this thing, with the Dash Evolution Network, you can make web apps where you don't need you don't need a backend server. You can just put up a little website and then it just connects to the network, and like all the stuff, it's not just the data's on the network, but the metadata's there, the indexing, all that other stuff. Like usually, like if you have like a blockchain, like a decent, like IPFS, all your data's on IPFS. If you go into the search button to say search for Denny's posts, that has to go to some search server somewhere that indexes everything and looks for all the stuff for you. With Dash, it's already indexed, so you just bring it right from the network. It just works. And so this is like the key missing piece to the decentralized web, where now you could do, for example, a big unveil that we'll have in September, hopefully the end of September, is this site called Yapper, which is decentralized Twitter. It's just Twitter that runs, it's a better Twitter, in my opinion, that runs on the Dash network and no backend server. You just use it. You own all your own data. If I friend you, that's all on the Dash network. If I send a post, that's all on the Dash network. I send you an encrypted DM, that's all on the Dash network. If someone nukes the Yapper site, you just pull up a different website that just points to the same data, and you're right back online. And
I would love to own all of the data, right?
Yes, all of yours at least.
Because I mean, some people were saying, "Oh yeah, that's why we need to like be minting certain things on chain, right?" Especially now with the influx of AI influencers, people copying. Denny, like this is scary as fuck. Like any video of you, like somebody could literally just take it, put on a different body, put on a different voice, and it would have your exact words, your everything. I mean, and we see stuff like that. So, I mean, whether it's AI doing it or somebody else just trying to say exactly what Joel or Nicholas says word for word, like I think that this would be very useful, because the act of minting every single time you put out a piece of content, when you could just, hey, it's my account, it's my data, and I own it. I mean, it just seems a lot more, I hate to say it, user friendly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game, is you don't have other dependencies. So
Right.
if you think about it, it's so simple, because what do you do with your life? You have websites, you have banking apps, you have all this kind of stuff. And the real, I mean, the simple thing is just do that stuff, but better and in a decentralized way. And where do you have dependencies? Oh, well, we have dependencies on this thing. Okay, how can we get rid of that dependency? Let's cut that out. All right, we got rid of that. We still depend on this though. What do we do about that? Well, let's create this index system that does that. Oh, there we go. Sounds good. But someone has to run a server and provide an API endpoint to connect to. Why don't we just do a decentralized API? Can we have the masters run that? I don't know. Let's figure it out. All right, fix that. All right, here it is. And so right now, the Dash Evolution platform runs on something called data contract. And a data contract is a JSON schema, which anyone who knows anything about web stuff knows what that is.
Just like a basic Frog just lit up. He's obsessed with JSON.
Yeah, he knows that stuff. So that's all Dash data contracts are, or JSON schemas, where I don't code really. I've tried some by coding, but I can read a Dash data contract and see, event equals this, location equals that, this equals, just very simple thing. And that's just how you order the data in your state transitions when you do data writes. All that data you write to the Dash blockchain or the Evolution chain is permanent, refundable storage. So that means you write to store it for all time. But if you want to delete it, you can delete it and get a partial refund on your transaction. So for example, let's just say you put up like a website, or like, let's say you put up your CV on your resume on there. And you're like, all right, it's on Dash, so no one can take it down, because people are always trying to censor my professional goodness for some reason.
I'm so professional.
You have that, and then you change jobs. You don't. Most of these permanent systems, you have to do a second copy, so you have to pay a second time, and then a third time. With this one, you can replace it. You can swap it out, and then eventually, if you retire and you be like, I only had this for a few years, I'm going to delete it and get like 70% of my money back for it. After 50 years, you don't get a refund. It slowly bleeds away over 50 years. And then at that point, it's just stored for free forever. But the point is that's how the system works. Now, what we don't yet have is smart contracts, which are things that like actual programmatic things that run on their own. But that will, I've been told to not overpromise, but there might be some surprises on that. But basically at that point, you got what Dash represents, and the core of it all is a Zcash on steroids and a Solana on steroids, all merged into one thing. And that's gonna be cool. So that's what keeps me up. That's what makes me deal with everything I deal with to do this. That's what keeps me. You know me. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm very complimentary of a lot of the blockchain space. I know a lot about a lot of different projects. I'm a fan of a lot of different ones. I use everything. This is so you're like, why is this guy like hanging around the Dash world so long? Even it's like, well, that's why, because we're working on some really cool stuff.
I can definitely back that up. Dash is incredible. And if you guys don't know much about Dash, you really need to do the deep dive. I mean, you are listening right now to an OG of debanking. I mean, it doesn't get more OG than that. That guy had to figure out, he brute forced it for everybody. It is so much easier now because Joel took the hard path. He carved the path through the jungle with a machete like a wild, savage animal, New Hampshire man for you. You guys, you need to get some Dash. Check it out.
Well, and I will sort of take a qualifying thing to all that in saying I know people who don't have birth certificates, much less a bank account, who are doing the same type of thing. I know people a lot more hardcore. My claim to fame is I'm the only one of these that I know of who's just loud about it, who talks about it publicly. Almost everyone else who's like trying to be as hardcore as possible is also just like hiding from the government or whatever else. They're just like very not either introverted or just very privacy focused.
It's not even just privacy, right? Let's be real here. I'm making some content about this. There's privacy and security, and then there's privacy and secrecy. Yeah, I said it. I said it. And things that should not be kept secret.
If you had not been talking about it, no one would know how to do this stuff, buddy. So you don't be humble over there. You deserve to flex a little bit.
And I know
you do.
There are every once in a while, there's two things in life that really make me happy in the professional environment. One is when I run into someone, three things I should say. One, when I run into the wild someone who's like, oh man, I follow you on X, it's good stuff. I love how you're always shitting on the maxis. I'm like, yes, that makes me decently happy. But more than that is when I run into someone and says, oh dude, I closed my bank because I saw your stuff. And there's a couple of those people, and for me that's just like an angel gets its wings. But that's second only to when I've run into someone in public and they're like, dude, I just love the circle of exit liquidity. I'm just like, oh, that's it. That's the stuff right there.
And you know, and this is why, and now I have to sing your song one last time. Joel, 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 pay with crypto, don't send me to hell.
Ma'am, we're gonna need you to leave now.
You haven't bought anything, madam. You have taken up the seat for the last hour and a half.
Ma'am, at least a croissant, for fuck's sake.
I bought a cookie. I'm the only one in here. I probably scared all the customers.
Yeah.
All the workers are just sitting in the back of the break room like, guys, we don't have to do anything. She's keeping them all out.
Yeah, they're just there with a cigarette.
I mean,
like,
shitty weather and like, but it's been beautiful almost every day that I've been here. Like, I'm serious. Like, it's been sunny almost every day. Like, I was telling Denny, and he's like, what, isn't it just supposed to be awful all the time? And I'm like, no, it's been like pretty beautiful almost every day since I've been here. It hasn't rained at all. It's drizzling a little bit now, but like, I've been here 2 weeks and this is the first time I've seen any drop of water. It's been like gorgeous all the time. But yes, Joel, I mean, like you are an inspiration. Like, you are that voice in my head. And I'm not actually dicking around, but like, one of these times we're going to have to talk offline about Rocket Fuel and my beef with them, because I wanted to do the Joel thing. And that's why I worked so hard to get everything set up with Rocket Fuel Pay. But it was such a pain in the ass. And in the end, what was I getting? Stupid fucking stable coins, right? And I know how much you love stable coins.
yeah, well,
no, I mean,
I don't want
you
to
just wanna
speak
talk
too
about
much
that
ill
offline.
on.
You wanna talk about
I
that
don't
on
feel too much ill. Yeah, but there were some concerns from some mutual partners of ours about them, and you know, there's reasons to look for other things, but that's just all I'll say. But yeah, there's plenty of things you can do. But let me give a couple of freebies, whatever, of fun things. A lot of these are I'm more knowledgeable at what's available in the U.S. as far as. Hold on a second. The Popo's going by. You must have heard my tax evasion jokes. Oh, there's two of them. Oh, no.
2 minutes later. Yeah.
No, they drove by too fast. They would know where I lived. Anyway, so first of all, probably the easiest way you can start trying to use crypto is if you download the Dash Pay wallet, and you can do it in the iOS. And they'll be much better each month that goes by. Right, there are so many improvements happening, but right now it's good enough to where you can download it. There's a service in there called Topper that is an Uphold affiliate, and you can go in there and you can set a recurring buy, right? Where you can every week buy $50, every month buy $500, whatever it is. Just figure out what's a little thing that you want to play around with and just set it. Now you have a Dash income. And then in the spending, there's a where to spend tab, which again, all this is much more primed in the US right now, but in other countries, it'll hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have a lot of different options. But you could spend on, go to Target, go to Walmart, go save 5% at Target, for example. Go spend 2%, 2.5% at Ulta. Go spend at Buffalo Wild Wings. Go Chipotle and buy your burrito for 1% off, whatever. You can just spend your Dash on all this stuff. You have to learn how to do it, by the way. But this is the safe way to learn. If you just say, I'm going to close my bank account tomorrow. Like, well, okay, listen, figure it out first. That pipeline is good. Any other case where you learn you want to use crypto, we have a DEX function as of yesterday built into the thing that has Near Intense and Maya Protocol and will have Thorchain when Dash is added to Thorchain in there. So if someone's like, oh, Lynn, let me send you some Bitcoin, you're like, well, I just have this Dash wallet. You can send Bitcoin into the Dash wallet and it turns into Dash. And then if someone's like, hey, pay me back in Litecoin, bro, and you're like, okay. And then you can scan their Litecoin QR code and hit it, and your Dash goes through by the magic of Thorchain, hopefully very soon, then it turns into whatever they got. And so now you have your one app that does everything. And you are earning some Dash, and you can increase how much you buy out of it. I don't know if buying every month like that is, if you're trying to be super unbanked, the way you end up doing it eventually, but this is the gateway drug. This is what you do. You can look up people in like my username, the Desert Links. You can add me a friend request. I'll send you money just like it's a Venmo or whatever, just because I like you. I won't send you too much though. Don't get crazy. And then if you buy something and be like groceries from, you put a little encrypted note, and then that's part of it. And you're off to the races. That's my big alpha to start you off on your journey.
Question: when you pay with Dash, does anything require KYC of any kind?
So no. Let me just say no. At the blockchain level, no. When you do these payment integrations, none of them that we have right now require KYC. There might need to be an email address. When you use Topper to buy, I think there's a no KYC limit before you have to do it. So if you just want to buy like $50 and try it out one time, you can probably do that with just name, address, and phone number. But then like once you buy like $2,500 worth of it, they're going to be like, all right, now we need your government ID and stuff. But that's how crypto works right now. And there's plenty of ways to earn it without doing that kind of stuff, but that requires, it's more DIY. Like you have to go tell someone, hey, I want to be paid in Dash. Can you do this? And then they're going to have to be like, all right, fine. And then they're going to have to figure it out. But the point is, yeah, that'll just get you going, and it's all, private. Depending on when you try this out, there could be shielded transactions in the wallet. They're being rolled out in the next few days in a couple wallets, and then you'll have the maximum privacy while doing that as well. And by the end of the year, in addition to just all that stuff being what it is, but then better because more options show up and stuff, there's going to be a function where you can use that wallet to connect to social media apps. So you want to use that wallet to just sign into your Twitter clone or whatever else. You can just do it right from there. So it's like the one stop to do everything. And yeah, I better see you guys yap it on Yapper by the end of the year. Fun fact about that too. Who remembers the Silk Road?
I mean, come on, I'm from LA. Well, not exactly, but like, well,
Cool.
Orange County
Yes, dude.
technically. And you know what? They all love the Silk Road. Most of my friends back in LA, when I asked them, how'd you get into crypto? They said, well, the Silk Road, of course. And of course, I wanted to buy drugs.
Yes, of course. That's very LA of you. But
I'm still
Skid Row and all that.
I'm still in the culture shock a little bit here. Like, everyone's not making a TikTok video on every corner. It's so strange. But carry on.
Welcome to not the dystopia. But so the Silk Road was the first, I would say the second use case for crypto that proved itself. Because at first Bitcoin was just like, oh, this is this fun theoretical digital currency thing. And then no one knew what to do with it. And then ᚚᛚᛴᚖᚾ sold 2 Domino's pizzas for 5,000 Bitcoin each. And that was like the first example that we've documented of like a real world purchase with that. But it's still like, oh, we'll just do it because it's fun and we like it and we want to believe in it. The first thing was something called Satoshi Dice, which was a online dice game made by Eric Voorhees of Shapeshift fame and then Venice fame now. Again, a friend of the show, right? Good guy. Also former New Hampshire resident / free stater. So
really?
Go way back. And so that's
he doesn't
how
sound American when he talks. I can't figure where he's from without looking it up.
he is. It's just tech people, just all weirdos. But
He's American. He's just affected. Carry on.
Yes. So he has so Satoshi Dice was like an online dice game that actually got decent volume because there was no good way of doing like online dice games with fiat currency because it's all credit cards block this, that, and you can't roll up and shove a $20 bill in your USB port and it works. So it was one of those first things that got a lot of volume. And then they got shut down, and I think he had to pay the government a fine or something like that. I don't remember how that worked out. But the next was this thing called the Silk Road. And the Silk Road was an online marketplace run by Ross Ulbricht, where you could buy and sell anything pretty much, including, and chiefly I would say as far as why people would use it, stuff like drugs. And also like they had technically things like, I think they had like murder for hire type things on there too, but like, come on, who's going to do that? But the point is, it was.
I'm pretty sure there was other things on there too. I had a friend who was tweeting, I paid my dominatrix in Bitcoin this week, but carry on.
Yeah, but isn't that Craigslist? Like, it's not that spicy. Anyway, so that was the point, is like anyone could buy and sell anything that they wanted. And it was still a centralized site run by this one guy and his team, or allegedly run, again, it's not been proven, but whatever. And it eventually got taken down. I think it was like in November of 2013. It was like just after I got into this stuff. Because I remember when I heard about the Silk Road, I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. Oh, yeah, that guy's going to prison at some point. And then it happened. And I have a great relationship with his mom.
Wait, you went to prison?
No, not yet. Fingers crossed.
Oh
but
my
like
God, don't
Ross
say not
Ulbricht,
yet.
the founder of the Silk Road, went to prison. He was there for about like 10 years. And he had like a double life plus 80 years or something.
Crazy.
Like they really screwed him
So
over. And his
ridiculous.
mother, Lynn Ulbricht, who's, again, many people in my life excluded the best woman in the world. She's fantastic. She fought tirelessly for his liberty. And I remember, like, I've known her for years when her son was in prison for the rest of his life and just trying to help, with connections, testify, whatever. She finally got Trump to pardon him. That was within 18 hours of being in office. He pardoned him and he got out, which is fantastic. But so that was the big, okay, this is what it is. This shows that crypto can be useful. The next, so who remembers Open Bazaar? Is that name familiar?
Open
I know the
Bazaar.
name, but I didn't.
This is our crypto unk hour.
Yeah.
Open Bazaar was sort of a resurrection of the Silk Road in that it was a permissionless marketplace, but actually built permissionless at the start, like actually with decentralized infrastructure. And I think they had, like, most instances had filters where they didn't allow illegal stuff on there, something like that. I don't remember exactly the full on details, but one of my friends who was a big Bitcoin Cash guy back in the day was the lead backend developer of OpenBazaar, and they ended up failing because they had user experience issues, they had clunkiness, and there was a lot of money to maintain this infra because they had to run their own backends for the search function, for a bunch of other things. And so it just ended up sort of going away. And as part of this Yapper project that Dash is doing, there's a completely decentralized, censorship-resistant online store function that anyone can just set up their store, and the store is all on the blockchain. And you can, your invoices are, like if I send you an invoice for money, it's encrypted and on the Dash chain and has all the info and stuff, and you could put in your shipping address and all that stuff. It's working today on testnet, so you can play with it today. It's not real money, real Dash yet, but it will be out again Q3.
I want
Q3,
that.
Q4.
I want it. When's it going to be done? I
yeah,
want
it's
it
like,
now. Sorry, that sounded very like Willy Wonka.
Yeah. Wow, I was gonna sing it, but no, probably not. But so the point is, all these things start to come out and become possible. All these things that you want to do. And for example, my friend Douglas Tubin, who's a big guy in the Monero community, runs Monero Talk. He also runs something called, it was XMR Bazaar, and now is transitioning sort of to a non-bazaar, which is a, it's sort of like an open bazaar style, like online, anyone can sell anything they want, peer-to-peer kind of thing, like a crypto Craigslist almost, but it's still run on centralized infra for now. When this is out, when the Yapper store is out, I'm going to say everyone's got to migrate to this. Doug, you should have all your shit on decentralized rails. Everything starts to become possible, whether it's we're going to have a Dash Wikipedia, right? It's like Wikipedia, but it's run on decentralized, censorship resistant rails, where you can update your own page on there on the blockchain. You own your own entry. So like Thorchain can own the Thorchain entry and have it say what it wants. And you can have a public revision history where it says, we changed it here, and it's all on the blockchain forever. And so you can have all that. You can have, a Reddit clone that works without censorship. You can do, like, the sky is the limit. And then you get smart contracts, you get all that Solana meme coin shit and everything else, and all on decentralized rails. It's everything I've been working towards all this time, and it's gonna be a thrill to be able to promote that stuff.
Well, it'll be even better to use it, right? I mean, the more that we have these independent avenues to have more autonomy in terms of being like, I don't know if you want to, I'm making up words here, like micropreneur, entrepreneur, whatever, like, and if you add in like the abilities that things like vibe coding have given us, like how much more does that empower the individual to be able to do more sales for themselves, and in a way that's decentralized and uncensored and everything else. I mean, Hidden here, or Nicholas, he sells so much shit. I mean, in a good way, Nick. I'm not making fun of you, but like, imagine if you could be running some of your operation that you do now, and you could use a tool like what Joelle is talking about. Like, how would that make your life easier in a lot of ways?
And
I mean, if I was going to use a tool like Dash in my free will imagination way, in the way I want, kind of like how you guys were saying, like the crypto Craigslist, I would want to be able to have like all payments on it, because e-commerce is like, you don't want to just convert people through there. But I also would think, like, what I was thinking was outside of like e-commerce stock and just stock of stores, malls, whatever you want to talk about. Like, have you guys looked into like gambling and different types of gaming communities and online stuff like that?
I know some people have. One of my good friends who Denny actually met, right? Do you remember one time the tall Dash dude who was at the Thorchain event?
Yes.
He, again, no one else knows. I don't want to dox him, but he's a professional poker player. And so there are quite a few of those in crypto, and there's a few in Dash. And so I'm sure someone's going to do a provably fair poker that's running on Dash. I'm sure people are going to do other things. I just,
yeah.
I mean, listen, I already gamble a lot by living on this decentralized tech. Like, that's the thing is my own life is super boring in a lot of ways. I mean, my vices are cocktails and coffee, right? But I have very like nice, normal little, chop my own wood for the winter and just hang out with my 2 kitties and the missus and all this. And like, I got my like just chill, boring, safe. I don't do anything crazy, anything risky, just because this part of my life is just so chaotic. It's like, this is the thick of it. So I'm not going to be touching any of the gambling type stuff because I just don't have time or appetite for any extra risk like that in my life. But I'm sure some people will. And they'll find a way to do it, and they'll launch it, and it'll be fun, and it will provide a lot of value to the chain. I mean, the thing is, like with crypto has gone straight to the casino, and literally Bitcoin's first use case was Satoshi dice, right? Gambling, but it was gambling because it was a digital cash use case. It was censorship-resistant money on the internet, and that's what gambling proved it. But it wasn't a gambling tool. It was a censorship-resistant money tool, which is just more useful to gambling. Now, unfortunately, the crypto world went way deep into gambling, whether it's the prediction markets, the poly markets and stuff of the world, whether it's the meme coin stuff, whether it's just the NFT mania, everything is just the casino. And
but here's the thing, like,
sorry,
I don't mean to interrupt you.
We need something fresh. We need a back to our roots thing. We need to stop breaking promises about this tech can do all this cool shit, man. And then you just play the casino. Like, no, we got to do the cool shit. And then if someone else wants to do casino, I mean, that's permissionless, but I'm going to focus on the stuff that I've been saying. Oh, guess what? Your website is all going to be, you can't have it taken down. It's just there. You can just run it. Your online web store, no one can censor you there. Your money, no one can censor you there. Your social media, no one can censor you there. You own your own money and your own data. And then we're building a real alternative to the dystopian shitscape that a lot of the world is turning into. That's what I want to do. Then you guys can play the lotto all you want after we've done that.
And you're proud to be an American, right?
Or at least I'm proud to be a Granite Stater more than an American, honestly. But yes.
No, you're right. Like, I'm glad.
Live free or die.
It was getting crazy.
Yes. I mean, every one of our license plates here says live free or die. What else do you need?
I love that.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I am getting
hungry and tired.
I'm getting not hungry. I did eat before this, but I should get off. But I was going to say we are getting a visitor from somewhere in the Thorchain ecosystem this month to show around to maybe see if they want to move. I'm gonna sell it hard because we need more Thor chats up here.
I think I know who you're talking about, but I won't say who that is. I
Someone
love
in
it
the
though.
Thor community.
See, privacy is not hiding.
Huh?
Privacy is not hiding. Privacy is consent. It's you get to decide who knows what about your life. Like I post stuff online. It's not very private, but I do that because I know what I'm putting online. I decide what's online and what isn't. And so same thing is like I'll tell you what's going on in my life or entertain some Thor chats, but do I tell the individual whose business it is? No.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it all comes down to I like to think of it as, it's on a need to know basis, right? And then anything else that you want to share, that's up to you. And it's a gift, right? Like even in relationships where it's a lot more personal or things are a lot more intimate, whether it's romantic or platonic or whatever, right? There are some things that they do need to know, and you do need to be able to be vulnerable. But that doesn't mean they even need to know like every little fucking thought that comes through your head, because that would actually ruin some things, right? Especially because not everything should have to be prompted like AI. Some things, if you feel like you have to prompt your friend to do, it's like it fucking ruins the whole thing. There's just, because there's no purity then, in some of these things. And so I feel like it's very much a need to know basis, and you don't need to know everything. Nobody does. And absolutely, it's about consent. And if there's no consent, or if there's any kind of manipulative coercion, gaslighting, cognitive dissonance to get you to do something, fuck that noise. I'm going to stop yapping. I mean, I want to if Denny or if Nick or if you have anything else, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm the one getting hungry, so I'm going to probably shut down the stream in a few minutes. And I also have to go to the bathroom, and I've been sitting here like an idiot.
For anyone watching, at first I was, Red knows y'all a lot better than I do. This is my first time
I'm
meeting.
getting to know them. Like, I especially the way I talked to you today, Joelle, on a recorded space.
Yes.
But from the amount of Johns, I posted about 500 different Johnson posts, JSON posts during these streams and deep dives about every topic we have been talking about. And I think anyone watching, y'all should definitely check them out because y'all are really cool. I was kind of iffy, and then y'all said Kraken, and you guys had me because that means either way, if you guys don't do gambling, I can gamble with any site that accepts Kraken with Dash. So I'm happy, and you guys don't have to build gambling. So I think that's all I have to say. All my questions have been frogged up. We could all crash out together, just start unruthfully just getting Red kicked out of there just by all of us yelling. But other than that, I think y'all are pretty cool.
Well, apparently so does the audience, because we've only increased the audience since we've been streaming, not decreased it. So thanks to you guys for tuning in, because you clearly understand that this is an important conversation with people that I really respect. Denny, what about you?
It's a great conversation. I always love talking to people. I love talking to Joelle, of course. It's just so great. I love doing this stuff. I'll never get tired of it. It's just so great to be a very tiny part of such a transformative time in history. Very weird, honestly, to think this is a once in a species event to go on blockchain, but we got to get it right. So guys, please, whatever you do, whether you use Thorchain, my protocol, use Dash, just support decentralized Rails, support the things that push the ethos, because the ethos is the only thing that's going to save all of us, right? Use swap.thorchain.org, thorchain.org. Use runebond.com if you want. Doesn't matter. Just use decentralized tech. Support teams who support the correct ethos. We're all on the same team here. It doesn't matter. Use Near protocol. I don't care. It does not matter. Just use decentralized Rails. Get off centralized exchanges. Be private. Let's go. And I know, Red, I'm going to stop right there because it's like you're going to pee yourself.
Well, let me get my
Stop it, Danny.
Let me get my outro, right?
Yeah.
Were you trying to say something so funny?
Taxation is theft. Your
What?
phone is spying on you. Taxation is
phone
theft. Your phone
Don't buy meta glasses.
Scam. Live on crypto before it's too late, and run your own AI at home.
And buy guns.
So I can have my own AI and my own glasses. I want to do that next. Yeah. It's all good.
Red.
Yeah. Joelle, did you want to say anything else before we close out? And then I'm going to close this out for today,
I don't know. Hug yourself before you rug yourself.
Hug yourself before you rug yourself. Bridges are for bitches.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I learned that from Denny. Actually, I already knew that, but I just love the way that Denny worded it. It was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
But guys, it's a great day to start dashing with Thorchain. And as always, please always support any protocol that supports freedom, liberty, sovereignty, and the right to pursue happiness, whatever the fuck that even means. But like I say, whenever happiness is gone, purpose is always there, and we seek to be purposeful here today. Okay, guys, until the next time on Citizen Glitch.